What's going on, everyone? Scotty White, World Combat Sports. Thank you for tuning in. I know it's been a hectic last 7 days. I totally understand. Thank you for tuning in. My voice is a little hoarse, so we're going to get right down to it. For all the supporters that's been tuning in to World Combat Sports, I appreciate it. Continue to share the content and tune in and drop your comments for the talking points that we have. Today is Catchweight episode 713, Boxing Talk. And of course, we're going to jumpstart right into it with Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury. You know what it is. It's the biggest fight that we want to see. Hands down, point blank, period. Coming off that February 22nd fight, it was just one of those situations where we need a trilogy to see, can Deontay prove all the doubters wrong? Is Tyson Fury really that good? And can the fight even happen? You know what I'm saying? Can Tyson Fury go in there and defend his first title? That's the point I'm trying to make to the people. Y'all busy want to come up here and talk about Deontay Wilder and, can he do this? The way he looked in the last fight, his uniform was this, and his legs, the way he looked, he took a beating. But Tyson Fury never defended the title. Vice, he has been in ownership of all the titles, okay? But therefore, when we talk about the unified titles, it should be an asterisk because we all know what he popped for. And then this particular WBC title, it wasn't without controversy. So, hold on for a second. I've been multitasking. I forgot I left my mic in the whole other house or whatever. But getting back to the fight. Hey, TJ Sports, thanks for tuning in, man. Appreciate it. And like I said before, man, y'all share the video. It's all good. It's boxing talk only today. But I really want to get back in to Deontay Wilder, stepping back in to get his WBC title back. The reason being, I believe he can do it. I believe he can come back and get his title. But the word on the street is, and what I mentioned before on my live is that he had a bicep surgery. He even, it's been mentioned several times over. He had a bicep surgery and he's in the healing process. Or is he? I've heard different stories that, he had the surgery and he's in the process of healing and he should be back in the gym, not for sparring, but just to work out or what have you. The question mark is Tyson Fury coming off a dominating performance. Is he able to prove people, to the hardcore fight fans that he can defend the title against the best in the heavyweight division? That best right now is Deontay Wilder. Regardless if he lost or not, he's still the best matchup for Tyson Fury. He is absolutely the best matchup. Whatever you put it, good and damn well, you're not really looking forward to Fury Joshua because the way Tyson Fury looked in there against Deontay Wilder, he would absolutely wash Anthony Joshua. But look, the fight makes money. The fight makes money. So I see it going down like Eddie Hearn is definitely going to try to continue to push this fight over and over again. Put the word out there that, Deontay Wilder may not make it back to for the trilogy, and then therefore Dillian White may step in to fight Fury. But the good thing is Deontay Wilder has the February 2021 to fight Fury, or else, his rematch is out the window. You know what I'm saying? For a trilogy. Do we want to see Dillian White and Tyson Fury? I myself, I'm gonna be absolutely honest, I don't, because I just don't see him standing there with a smart fighter like Tyson Fury, with an IQ like Tyson Fury, and doing anything different than what we expected from Dillian White. I do believe he'll go in there, guns a-blazing, and try to knock out Tyson Fury. If he doesn't get the knockout, it's a catastrophe. It's goddamn absolutely breakdown. Hey, the landing gear is not going to come out for Dillian White. For real. I believe Tyson Fury is just too smart for Dillian White. He's been in there with the big fights. Dillian White, biggest name, he's been in there with Anthony Joshua, and he was knocked out. Now, of course, he's had other fights, you know what I'm saying? But he didn't look too good, and those names wasn't as big as Tyson Fury. We know that. But Deontay Wilder is what we're, hoping. We're still keeping our freaking fingers crossed. We still have confidence that he'll recover. He's fought through injury before, but when you have surgery, we don't know the extent of how severe or deep the surgery was. So therefore, it's going to be like a waiting game in these upcoming months to see if the word is indeed true. You know what I'm saying? To see if Deontay Wilder isn't coming back for this trilogy, or is he coming back? We would definitely want him to be 100%. If he's going in there to try to get back his WBC title, we want him to be 100%. Absolutely. And like I said before, I truly believe the champ can go back in there with a different game plan. If he has the opportunity, which he does, to bring more people into his camp, get second, third set of eyes, come up with some new ideas, work on the fundamentals like they said they was doing before, but add some additions to his skill set, improving his punch combinations, throw more punches. But he has a jab. He is the hardest hitting puncher in boxing. So he just have to know how to mix it up. He has to know how to be unpredictable than just throwing the jab and throwing the right. You know what I'm saying? Throwing the 1-2. You got to be more deceptive, so to speak, if you're going to go back in there with Tyson Fury. Sir Ken in the building. What's good, man? Say World Combat Sports salute. Salute to the chat. Smash the like. I appreciate that, people. That's the fight a lot of people want to see. We definitely want to see Deontay Wilder, Tyson Fury 3. Absolutely no doubt about it. It has to happen because, for one, Deontay defended his title 10 times, and he went in there 11 times and wasn't successful. But the one thing about it, he defended his title over a 5-year span. That's absolutely respectable. And then on Tyson's part, he can absolutely say that he's held the belts. All right. But what he can't say is he's ever defended one of them. But yet you have so many people out here on social media that's saying how great Tyson Fury is. You know what I'm saying? They're saying how great this man is, how his performance that he was able to put on with Deontay Wilder is one of the best in his career. Probably. I'm not gonna lean all the way to the left. You know what I'm saying? It's probably his best performance he's had. Even with Klitschko. Yeah, the reason why I'm saying that is because we all seen the fight. Watch the fight with Klitschko and watch the fight with Deontay Wilder. Come on, man. Come on, we know what he did in the Klitschko fight. TJ Sports say facts. Wilder gonna whoop on that boy next fight. Yeah, man. I'm totally confident. I don't have any doubt, man. If he's healthy, he's able to get back in training camp and gets those collective voices in the training camp and give him a different look. Then of course, absolutely, we're good. Hold on for a second. I'm trying to check this. I'm trying to check this lighting. This lighting was too goddamn bright. But Tony Burgess, what's good, man? Say salute to World Combat Sports for what you do. I appreciate it, Tony Burgess. You know, y'all give a shout out to Burgess Boxing and Fitness, man, over in North Carolina, man. Keep doing your thing, bro, for real. Hopefully North Carolina open up sometime soon. You know what I'm saying? We really can't. We really don't know when boxing is going to open up in North Carolina. But hey, man, you know, much success to y'all over there. The word on the street is boxing on the top level may potentially start their rotation of fight cards in June. We'll see. You know what I'm saying? We'll see how that works out. We'll see how everything, you know, what matchups we're going to have. I want to give a shout out to Joshua Greer Jr. You know what I'm saying? He's definitely going to be on the docket. You know, Mike Magic Plania is his next opponent. I believe he's 23-1. Joshua Greer 22-1. Both of these gentlemen has 12 knockouts in the bantamweight division. So be on the lookout for that fight. And shout out to Team Greer Jr. Don't blink over there in Chicago. Real talk. He's back at home training and, you know, in the gym where it all started. So salute to him, man. It's always a pleasure to see you fight, man. This time I probably won't be there because I doubt the sport is going to open up the fans, you know, when that comes down to it. But that's where we at, man, with Wilder and Tyson Fury. That's where we at, people. Keep on talking about the fight. You know, hopefully we're able to see it. But the bad thing about it is that if travel restrictions isn't lifted, this fight, no way, shape, or form can happen here in the U.S. without a crowd. From what I'm hearing, Bob Arum is seeking out investors, you know, from the outside perimeter of the U.S., you know, our neighboring countries, to basically, you know, try to get some funding for this fight. Now, that doesn't mean that it's automatically going to be outside the U.S., but he said the talks haven't advanced to that point yet that the fight may happen outside the U.S. or inside the U.S. We don't freaking know. We're just waiting. But he did say he was talking to some outside investors so they can try to get some funding for this fight. Without funding, I don't think the fight's going to happen. Now, how does that play a role in Deontay Wilder having to face Tyson Fury by February 2021? Hey, it's plenty of months between here and there. Boxing gets started. If they don't want to have the fight, you know what I'm saying, without a crowd, then what if Deontay say, okay, I'm good to go to have the fight? And then the promoters are like, well, we don't want to have the fight because it's just senseless to think that we're going to have a fight where we can't make any money. You know what I'm saying? That's going to be huge in upcoming months. As to some of these big fights that we want to see, can we actually make this shit happen? Can the fights happen with blackouts? You know, I know apart from what's been going on lately, we haven't really heard too much about COVID-19 due to everything that's been going on around. So I'm curious to know if, since we have situations going on, protests and everything, and the focus is not on COVID-19, I'm not saying it disappeared, but what I'm telling you is, are they going to be willing to lift travel restrictions? Hey, what's going on, Alex Ayala? What's good, man? Salute to you. Are they going to be able to lift travel restrictions so some of these fighters can come back into the U.S. so we can make some of these fights without an audience? I mean, how long is the travel ban going to be in place? You know, and the COVID-19, it's not like the cases are totally going away, but we haven't been hearing the mainstream news media talk about COVID-19 like they were before. Everybody's out in the street. When I say everybody, I'm using that shit lightly. I don't mean to summarize the entire entity of the populace here in the US. But what I'm saying is, every time you turn on right now, it's protest, protest, protest. No social distancing. It's people that are freaking shoulder to shoulder in close distance, and you either have a mask on or you don't. But I can tell you they ain't practicing social distancing. So hopefully the travel restrictions are lifted so some of these fighters can wear a mask and come back over here and fight. That's all I'm asking. Hell yeah, that's all we want. If that's the case, man, we good. We can start, trying to work on increasing the numbers to these gatherings so we can get the fans back in the seats and we can see some of these fights that we need that need to happen in 2021, around 2021, 2022. You know what I'm saying? Tyson Fury, Deontay Wilder is the biggest fight. The next biggest fight, in my opinion, one of those fights was Teofimo and Lomachenko. That fight has just been scattered all over the place. Lomachenko is out of the country. So once again, that plays a big role in who's Teofimo is going to face next. Moving on. Now we have, Terrence Crawford. Terrence Crawford says he's been chatting and trying to make the fight with Manny Pacquiao. But from my understanding, Manny Pacquiao is indeed in the Philippines. What's going on, Hodges? Salute, man. Michael Johnson Boxing Talking More. What's good? What's good with you? So everybody that's in here, please smash that like button. Thanks everybody for tuning in. Hey, drop your comments below about my talking points or whatever you have to say on the subject. But Terrence Crawford says that basically in the light of what's going on right now, with big fights not being able to hit the square due to funding, due to promotions not being able to receive any compensation, to no gate and everything else, he's made it a point to say he's been trying to make the fight. He really want to fight Manny Pacquiao. And look, I want him to fight Manny Pacquiao. I want Terrence Crawford to fight Manny Pacquiao. I believe wholeheartedly that Terrence Crawford can beat Manny Pacquiao. Now, we look at Lucas Matisse, Adrian Broner, and freaking Keith Thurman, right? So all those fights have something in common, and we know what that is. So we know damn sure if Manny Pacquiao faced Terrence Crawford, it's going to be with testing, period. And for those of you that believe that Manny Pacquiao is going to look the same are absolutely mistaken. Manny Pacquiao is not going to come into a fight with Terrence Crawford with proper testing and do or perform the way he did against Keith Thurman. It's not going to happen. So the good thing about that matchup, it'll be one of the bigger names on Terrence Crawford's resume. And also for those who keeps comparing Terrence Crawford's welterweight resume to that of Errol Spence, you get to see it for yourself, him going there against a big name, 8 division champion, Manny Pacquiao. You know what I'm saying? 62-7. I believe he has like 37 knockouts or something like that. I mean, a legend of the sport. But I don't see him beating Terrence Crawford. I don't see him reciprocating what he did with Keith Thurman. Hell no, I don't see that shit. I don't see that shit at all. But what I do see is him picking up that WBA super. That's what I see Terrence Crawford equaling up the scales of negotiation by having 2 titles at welterweight when he's stepping there with Errol Spence. That's what we want to see. Look, I don't really, Errol Spence is coming off a fight with Sean Porter right now. So I really don't care who he's fighting on his comeback because we're really trying to see how he looks. Okay. So I'm really not all hyped up about who he's going to fight. If it's Danny Garcia or whatever, I'm not hyped up about that. I'm gonna be serious. But I do see it as a tougher fight than what people are giving Errol Spence for. That would be a tougher fight for Errol Spence, Danny Garcia. But he has a WBC and IBF belt, right? If Bud Crawford can just pick up this WBA belt, it'll make that super fight that much better for the unified crowns in the welterweight division. That's all we want to see. We want to see the unified crowns in the hands of one of the best, one of the top 2 fighters in the welterweight division, That's who we want to see it in. I mean, that's only right. I'm not discounting Danny Garcia. It would be a big upset for Danny Garcia to go in there and defeat Errol Spence. I don't see it happening. Okay, I don't see it happening. But just say, for instance, Terrence Crawford, Errol Spence fight sometime down the road, and they both have two belts. The fight is going to sell that much more to the fans, especially the betting odds and everything else, to see who's the better welterweight. It really would make Terrence Crawford catapult his career to a different level, because he's already been unified to 140, right? Junior welterweight. You can't imagine if he goes in there and unified the welterweight division. On the flip side of that, Errol Spence say, I don't really want to move up to 154. I'm committed to 147 because I want to basically dominate the 147 division before I take a move up to 154. Now, this is where my logic come in at, people. I hear a lot of these fighters that are big names kind of basically thinking that they don't have to fight their friends. I thought boxing was a business. Forget everything you heard. I thought boxing was a business, right? A business first. Boxing is business first, right? So therefore, if Errol Spence is saying he has to commit to freaking clean out the welterweight division, and he chooses to stay down here, how many divisions that do Errol Spence at this point in time in his career, as he continues to get older, how many divisions does he have a championship belt? Welterweight, right? So he's already been a champion at welterweight. So therefore, wouldn't it be smart of Errol Spence if indeed, let's say on the plus side, he goes in there and defeats Terrence Crawford to automatically vacate and move up to 154. Forget everything about your stablemate, Jermell Charlo. That shit is out the window, bro. You are getting older. You have to establish yourself to be great. You're not considered in the class of great fighters right now. It don't matter how many people talk about you every day on YouTube. You are not classified as one of the greats. You just don't do that with 2 titles. Now, just by chance, you replicate what Zab was able to do and many others, right? You unify the division. Then that kind of elevates your status as one of the best welterweights. You was able to unify the division. But then we talk about multiple divisions. You have to definitely move up to 154 and potentially fight somebody important. You can't just walk around from Jermell Charlo and say, that's not somebody I want to fight because that's my stablemate. I mean, do you know how much money that fight will make? Come on. If Errol Spence vacated the titles, if he was successful to unify the welterweight division, and then say, I'm moving up to 154, and it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Man down. I want all the smoke. And then you hear Jermell Charlo say, keep running your mouth. Hey, man, listen. Y'all need to stop talking about you just want to fight this person, that person. Now, I'm going to tell you, I do believe it's going to be some titles by that time. I do believe we're going to see some titles scattered around the 154 division if Jermell Charlo haven't scooped them up. All right? We know what those titles are. Right? So depending on who Jason Rosario fights, if by chance he still has the titles, or if Jermell indeed fights Jason Rosario and unify and get those 2 straps, the only other person that'll be in the 154 division will be Teixeira, right? So therefore, it'll be some titles up there. If Jermell has 3 of them, Errol Spence will go up there and fight whoever is the WBO champion. If not, if Jermell don't want to fight, as a mandatory, because once Errol Spence moves up to junior middleweight, he's definitely going to be at the top of the rankings. So therefore, Jermell can either vacate and allow Spence to fight for a vacant title, and then allow him to get a second title in the second division. I mean, a second division as a world champion. That can happen, people. But in order for, Errol Spence to be considered a great man, he definitely had to go up to 154 and do some damage. Seriously. I hate using other fighters to compare them, but that's boxing, and the moves that Canelo's been making absolutely have been strategic. And what I mean by strategic, when he moved up to 168, come on, y'all. Come on now. You know he picked the easiest fight. Just what Floyd Mayweather say? Easy work. Canelo picked the easiest fight. The one that was validated is when he went in there and fought at 175, Sergey Kovalev. We got it. But come on. Stopping Rocky Fielding in 3 with a body shot. Come on, man. He picked the easiest shot. The easiest opponent out of that division. Hardy, he was undisputed. Bud at 140. Yeah, I said junior welterweight. I said junior welterweight, 140. Battle of Texas. I like that, man. Battle of Texas. Hey, I like that. I like that, man. Because look, this is how crazy it is, right? I was speaking to somebody about boxing, and one of the names they mentioned out of Texas was Errol Spence. I said, you don't know any other fighters that come out of Texas besides Errol Spence? So you may have the Charlo brothers that are currently residing as top names out of Texas, right? They're still trying to exemplify their status as 2 of the best boxers in the game. They're still trying to prove that. Even though Jamal Charlo has made the move up at 160, he still hasn't really did anything at 160. He really hasn't fought. I mean, we're waiting on some big names to fight Jamal Charlo. Just picking up belts, it's not going to do it for the Charlo brothers. It's too much hype behind their name for them to come up here and not fight the big names. You know what I'm saying? Jamel Charlo, his O is now gone, but he still was able to come back in there and stop Tony Harrison. Hey, convincing fashion. Give him a check in the box for that. But it's going to come a point in time that Jamal Charlo, he needs to try to unify the 154-pound division. He needs to try to make some moves that the fight fans will lean back and say, shit, okay, man, we didn't think he was going to do old boy dirty like that. We didn't think he was going to go in there and do him dirty. If he goes in there and get those titles and unify 154, I think pretty much he may be able to start to brush shoulders with his brother Jamal. Because if you think the fight fans are not going to come out with the storyline, who's the better twin, you're sadly mistaken. So if Errol Spence end up trying to go up to 154, people are going to be like, hey, man, fuck all that stablemate shit. Let's fight. The Battle of the Texas. You know what I'm saying? We want to see that. Can they be in the same division? And are they going to be smart about it? You cannot think for 1 second Errol Spence cannot move up to the 154-pound division while Jamel Charlo is still there. They need to fight. They need to freaking fight, man. That's a big money fight. If Errol Spence move up to 154, you think Jamel is going to move up to 160 and his brother's still there? Even though it's rumor that Jamal Charlo may indeed move up to 168 in the future? Do you think they're going to make those moves? It's possible, bro. It's possible to see that dynamic work because you got 3 fighters out of Texas holding belts. And you know what? A lot of fans are going to start calling for them to fight each other. Watch. You can't collectively have that much talent in one huge boxing footprint. And the fans don't demand that Errol Spence, if he moves up to 154, to face Jamel Charlo. If Jamel Charlo hasn't unified the division, why move up? Stay at 154, cement your legacy, unify the titles. I do believe he can defeat Jason Rosario. Absolutely. And then after you unify the titles, if you have the opportunity to freaking be undisputed at 154, go do it. After that, vacate the fucking belts and go to 160. Dare to be great, goddammit. Don't worry about Big Brother, Jamal Charlo. If he want to hang around at 160 and get some big fights, because we haven't seen him in big fights yet, then so be it. If not, move up to 168. You got some competition in 168. Hell yeah. You got some competition in 168. So y'all think about that. TJ Sports say if Errol moves up, no duck sauce. Man, hey, I feel you on that. No duck sauce, man. He got to go in there and get it. Man, this stablemate shit, you got too many fighters out here saying, oh, that's my friend. That's my friend. Your friend is not going to pay your bills once you hang up the gloves and it's your last fight. Your friend is not going to be there when you think, damn, you know what? Man, I wish I could have just did a little bit more in boxing. I need to go back. And then you close to 40 years old because your money ain't right. But this is the opportune time to try to make the money with the big fights. And if it includes facing your friend, your stablemates, hey, boxing needs to be understood, people. It doesn't have a retirement plan. These boxers out here saying they don't want to fight their friend when both of y'all are top names in the sport of boxing, it's not smart. Underrated Darkness, what's good, man? What's good? Salute. Hodges said Jamal is better than Jamel. Okay. Jamal has always been considered better than Jamel. Okay. Both of them had the same rhythm to a point of trying to be headhunters and knock their opponent out. Now, everybody always get Jamal that love because he came out first. You know what I'm saying? But listen, they've both been able to change the game in their own way, technical skill wise, so people can separate them. You know, Jamel been doing his thing, Jamal been doing his thing. You know what I'm saying? But when it comes down to it, could you ever imagine? Like, we had the Klitschko brothers. I know the Klitschko brothers ain't twins. But I'm saying, could you imagine if Charlo brothers fought each other? I mean, that would negate everything about who's the best right there. Could you imagine Jamel and Jamal Charlo fighting each other? And I'm not being goofy about this shit either. I'm saying what boxing is right now, coming off this pandemic, in the next 2-3 years, we need to see some big fights. If it's not going to be a full crowd in the building, we need to start making fights that we wouldn't have thought about, but now may be accessible for money. PPV worthy. Everything is going to shift over to PPV. So we need some big names to put on that card. Jamel have to prove that to Jamal. If Jamal is the better fighter, which it's been said several times over, then guess what? If he moves up to 160, will Jamal still stay in the same division? It's not like they haven't been in the same division before. In the same division, real talk. I'm just keeping it 100. It's not like they haven't held a belt in the same division, y'all. I'm back. We have big ass helicopters flying over because they're pretty much shipping in National Guard. That's how we do it in the military, man. Not everything is on bus. Some of these individuals fly in on the bird and dropped off at a certain location or whatever. So it seems like the how you put it, the shimmer that they have when they're going over the house, sometimes it messes up connection. But anyway, we back. We cooking. How do you say I want him to fight Rosario undisputed? Yeah, we definitely want the hardcore fans, mainstreamers. Definitely, we want Jermell Charlo to step up and fight for us for relevancy. You know what I'm saying? He needs to fight for his legacy. He needs to fight for superiority. The prove to people that he is one of the best fighters in the sport of boxing, hands down. Period. The Charlo brothers are known in the sport of boxing, but let's be honest, man. Big fights with big names. You know what I'm saying? I know we got the Tony Harrisons. I know that, but we're talking about collectively as two brothers with big names. Yeah, I'm back. Can y'all hear me? Let me get back to some of the comments. Let me know if y'all can't hear me or you can hear me. It's all good. Hopefully, it sustains, the connection sustains itself, and we can cook. Ken said the Charlos are both in great shape, but Jermell walks around at 185. How long can he make 154? That's a good question, man. That's a good question because it seems like even Errol Spence, the cut down for the Sean Porter fight, he was at 189 and he could have been better in the fight, but he had to make a tough weight cut down to 147. So imagine what you just said. which doesn't seem as strenuous as Errol Spence. But imagine Jermell Charlo if they just had a little bit more discipline in between fights. But I know it's hard to say that with the pandemic and everything going on. I get it. You make a solid point there, Ken. Yeah, if some of these fighters use the Floyd Mayweather template, you know what I'm saying? I hate compare fighters who are trying to establish their own legacy, but this is boxing and it's going to happen. But it requires discipline. You know what I'm saying? To not balloon up so much of weight and try to cut back down. Now, the older they get, I agree. Is it going to be tough for Jermell Charlo to make 154? And if it is, you know, he needs to do as much as he possibly can, get the unified titles from Jason Rosario, and see can he fight for that last WBO strap and be undisputed. Believe me when I tell you, people, that right there will separate him from his brother. If Jermell Charlo believes he's in the shadow of Jermall Charlo, do something that your brother hasn't done. It's boxing. Everybody wants to come up here. Everybody wants to talk about boxing, and they're going to talk about your ledger. They're going to talk about your history. They're going to talk about your legacy, your resume, everything that's public record. And when it comes down to it, if Jermell Charlo is able to unify the entire division, that he will successfully step out from his brother's shadow. It will force his brother to do something to keep him and his name relevant outside of Jermell Charlo. Please, if you think Jermall Charlo don't sit up here as a twin and want to be better than his brother, please. Come on, man. Jermall Charlo, them Charlo brothers competitive. You know what I'm saying? You know what Tony Harrison said? You remember when Tony Harrison said, man, your brother used to whoop your ass all the time growing up. Man, that'll be a reason. That'll be a perfect way for Jermell Charlo to release himself from the silhouette of Jermall Charlo, period. Hard to say. They can't promise their mom they'll never fight. That's why Jamal moved up. I thought Jamal moved up because basically he wanted to get another strap at 160. You know, he was trying to addition his legacy. I understand if they told their mom they'll never fight, but when it comes down to boxing, we don't know how much money the Charlos has accumulated in their career, but we do know, for those smart, intelligent fight fans and the ones that tune into boxing every day, right? We do truly understand that boxing, at some point, for some fighters, forced them back into the sport when they're past their prime. We know that's a proven fact, y'all. We know it's a proven fact. So therefore, forget all the friends, forget all the, I promised my grandma, my mama that we'll never fight. When it comes down to what the fans want to see, you think we won't show up to see the Charlo twins fight each other? Yes, absolutely. Would that be a testament, you know, in a competitive nature, to see them go in there and fight and the best twin win, hug it out at the end, even talk some shit during the fight, hype it up for the fans during the press conference, turn heel just like World Wrestling Entertainment, how they goddamn sell shit, become fake ass enemies, convince the fans that you don't like each other anymore. If the Charlo twins can convince the fans that this shit has built a wedge between them and they're not on speaking terms, and they go in there and keep on freaking blasting each other, man, come on, man. We'll sell shit to the fans. It'll make them want to come see that fight, y'all. They can goddamn laugh when it's all over with. They can laugh. They say, man, that shit was a joke. That shit was a joke, man. We didn't hate each other, man. We talk every day. We good. We just had to sell the shit because if we remain family and we was fighting one another, the fans wouldn't buy into the shit. So we had to make like we was hating one another. Oh, how you run boxing, man? What's good, Marcus? How you feel, man? But that's my take on it. That's my take on it. I really hope Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford fight. But look, Errol Spence is unified champion right now. It seems like his verbal commitment is to try to dominate and become undisputed at welterweight. Crawford's language, he hasn't really said that, he planned on moving up. When I asked him, he said, I don't plan on moving up to 154. You know what I'm saying? I don't plan on moving up to 154. So therefore, Crawford, a 3-division champion, he already has multiple divisions to his resume. For Errol Spence, not so much. Errol Spence, no matter how much people praise him as their favorite fighter, you have to look at one thing. How many divisions has he picked up a strap? That's not being disrespectful. That's talking that boxing. How many divisions? Where does he rank amongst all-time greats? Is Errol Spence going to be satisfied if he just go for 147 and then pick up a strap in 154? Is he going to be satisfied with 2 divisions? Will he be considered one of the greats to ever do it outside of his name? Right now, Errol Spence is not a so-called great fighter when you look at his resume. Yes, he went in freaking Kell Brook's backyard. I got it. Yes, he went in there and fought Sean Porter. I got it. But he needs some more medals to add to his badges so the fans can respect him as being one of the greatest to ever do it. That's all I'm saying. I don't want to see him, coming back for exhibition bouts when he's out the sport. Because a lot of these fighters, in my opinion, they're not training other fighters. I mean, I don't see them opening up gyms just yet. I don't see them training other fighters because they're still actively fighting in the sport and competing, right? But I mean, it's not a lot of names is out there that's opening up gyms to build up that second and third business once they step away from the sport, y'all, because boxing doesn't have that retirement. You got a family to support. Once you retire, the sponsors go away unless you was just this beast. And that's where we at. So shit, I'm curious to see what Errol Spence is going to do. I'm curious to see if we're going to see, Terrence Crawford be able to face Manny Pacquiao, pick up the WBA strap, and Crawford Spence. That's it. That's the fight. I don't want to see Keith Thurman coming back in the picture. I don't want to see that shit. I don't want to see Keith Thurman, Manny Pacquiao 2. Don't want to see that before Crawford and Errol Spence. I would absolutely want to see any of those fights after we see Crawford Spence, period. That's it. Keith Thurman want to come into the picture, cool. You know what I'm saying? But not before. Ohio You Run Boxing say, I'm good, bro. Just listen. Salute to the chat. For sure, man. Y'all make sure y'all support Ohio Run Boxing, man. Doing big things over there in Ohio. And, speaking of Ohio, man, I have to ask you this, Marcus. What's your take on your boy AB, bro? I mean, come on, man. I need the intel. I need the intel, bro. I need the pull up. I need for you to pull up on AB and get the scoop. He's talking to every other news media besides Ohio Run Boxing, and you right there in his backyard, man. That's an interview we need. We need to find out what's going on up here, AB, because I'm finding out that he may potentially be coming back to fight on a smaller network or whatever. That's what we're hearing. AB may potentially be coming back for 147 and fighting on a smaller network. I can assure you, I don't think he's going to be main event anything. Seriously, I don't think he's going to main event. But we want to know what's going on with AB, man. He's talking about being a rapper. His album was supposed to drop a couple of days ago, right? So if his album was supposed to drop, I haven't heard anything about that. He's not going to make as much money doing this pandemic from a rap album than he would being in the ring. That's just point blank, period. We know that for a fact, man. But man, Ohio, man, let us know, man, about that. AB situation. You know what I'm saying? Let us know about that. But that's, hey, M. Greg, what's good? What's good, man? Salute. Thanks for dropping in. For some reason, I'm trying to get this chat back the way it's supposed to be. I'll stand by for a second. I'm going to restart so I can get the YouTube chat back in full effect because connection was acting funky. It wasn't giving true numbers. There we go. There we go. There we go. Hey, how you run boxing, man? Thank you. Appreciate my brother for the donation. Real talk. I thank you for your support. And if you had a YouTube channel that was up, man, I definitely would return the favor, bro. But thanks for supporting, my media channel, man. My platform. I appreciate that, bro. Real talk. Leopold, what's good, man? Say salute to you, World Combat Sports. Keep up the great work. Man, I appreciate that, my brother. Thanks for dropping in as always. Tay Jones, Golden Warrior in the building, man. What's good, man? If you have anything to say about my talking point there, Tay Jones, man, let it be known. It's all good. Shout out to the ATL. But that's where I'm at with that particular process with Crawford and Errol Spence. I'm not going to beat it too much more, but I really want to see the next fight outside of Errol Spence and Danny Garcia. I really want to see Terrence Crawford fight Manny Pacquiao. I really hope Manny Pacquiao accept the challenge and get in the ring with Terrence Crawford. I don't see no way, no how Manny Pacquiao beating Terrence Crawford. I don't see it, especially with testing. I don't see it. Like I said before, Lucas Matisse, Adrian Broner, and Keith Thurman, same. No one's worried about testing. Manny Pacquiao looked great. 41 years old, he looked great. But I'd be damned if I can tell you I believe Terrence Crawford would take the same acceptance and allow that fight to happen with Manny Pacquiao getting hell no. Hell no. You know what I'm saying? So we'll keep it like that. Well, my earlier topic, okay, I'm in the gym with Mustafa. I tell him, I said, what's up? What's up? Stephen Wood, what's good? What we talking about? Well, my topic earlier was, Wilder Fury 3, potentially in jeopardy through the rumor mills that's been out in the media segues. It's just banter right now in the media segues that Wilder's surgery, hearing Eddie Hearn say, that Wilder may not be ready to fight Tyson Fury by 2021. He has the February 2021 to have that bout. But, Eddie Hearns keep talking in the media. So me as media, I'm talking about hypothetically. It ain't nothing confirmed, of course. But what I'm saying, Deontay Wilder, Tyson Fury 3, that's what we need to see at 100%. If not by chance, he does have a bicep surgery that keeps him out. The way Eddie Hearns is talking is that they're trying to quickly put Dillian White into the picture to face Tyson Fury, which I know damn well they're not counting on Dillian White to go in there and make the upset. But one thing I listen about Eddie Hearns, though he talk a lot of shit, I do listen to all the bullshit he talks. He knows Dillian White is not going to defeat Tyson Fury. So they're trying to make the master plan is Tyson Fury versus Anthony Joshua. That's the master plan that they're trying to make. Everybody knows that shit. They're trying to keep all the money over there. And, we all know that Tyson Fury relinquished his boxing license, but that doesn't mean he cannot retain it again. He cannot reapply. But I'm just saying, Eddie Hearns, he really wants that fight for Joshua. And no one will convince me that Anthony Joshua will defeat Tyson Fury. It's just talking points. It's just talking points, my brother. It's talking points. If it's in the media, I'm talking about it. I'm not confirming. I'm not sitting up here. Bro, you know me better than that, bro. Come on now. I'm reading. I read all media. I read like shit, 8 to 10 sources on certain things. If Eddie Hearns is talking all this bullshit, I got to talk about the bullshit too. You know what I'm saying? Now, if you go back in my live, I'm not in my live saying, of course, Deontay Wilder, he's hurt. He's not going to be back in the ring. But what I am going to talk about is what Eddie Hearns and the bullshit underscore that he loves to talk about in reference to Anthony Joshua fighting Tyson Fury. Him saying Deontay Wilder may not be back by the end of the year. Now, anybody who's followed me on all my lives with Eddie Hearns and Anthony Joshua know damn well I treat what he says just like the Heisman. But every now and then I have to entertain it because it's out here in the media. And that's what I do. Tay Jones said, D good and ready to go. For sure, man. Listen to on the front side of the live, man. It's tough to jump in on the mid, but listen to the front side. I said, from what I heard, he had the surgery and Deontay is going to be back in training. So that's what we're talking about. As long as he 100%. Tay said, Eddie, lies. I feel you, man. I feel you. And that's what I treated. I never sit up here and talk about Eddie Hearns as if his words are scripture. Any live I ever done, I can tell you the way Eddie Hearns sit up here and say we was gonna pay Deontay Wilder more than he ever made in his career. He could have been making $8, but Eddie Hearns say we're gonna pay him more than $8. We're gonna pay him $8.25. That's more than he ever made in his career. He's the type of guy that convinced the crowd that that's more than Deontay's ever made. Did I get your point there, Tay? Steven said, I hope Wilder don't disappear like Keith Thurman did and miss out on the dollars. Well, we can only sit up here and continue to support the champ, that he come back from that surgery. And I agree with you, he has the February 2021 to make this fight. And it hasn't really been anything said that will deter from him not making it back. Actually, Tay, one of the members of his camp, me and him talk periodically about certain things that he can let me on and inform me about. He hasn't said anything about Deontay Wilder not being able to make it back for the Tyson Fury trilogy. That's a good thing. That's a good thing. He never once told me that. I even knew about the surgery, but I ain't sit up here and talk about it immediately. But him being injured and him hurting his arm, all that. But I get what you're saying there, Steven. Tay said that's the same Eddie that skipped over Dillian and started talking Joshua Fury and Dillian the mandatory. You're right, man. Dillian's been the mandatory for a while. They was also having Dillian White trying to jump in and play him as a puppet to fight Deontay Wilder, and no one bit into it. He's been like the stepchild, the stepchild of boxing. That's Dillian White. He cannot get no respect. He's Rodney Dangerfield, y'all. Dillian, look, if y'all ever looked at my live where I told you when I met Dillian White, I was very critical of Dillian White. I was the one that was very critical of Dillian White and Anthony Joshua, right? And one time I seen Dillian White at the MGM, like I said, and he seemed cool. But then he talked so much shit. He had like he was over here trying to make moves to be a global superstar. But yeah, he goes right back over there and start talking shit about our superstar. You know what I'm saying? His only words is always about Deontay Wilder. He was a coward. He's a coward. Tay say, I got you. Nothing towards you. No, it's all good, bro. It's all good, man. Come on. Come on, Tay. You know better than that, man. Talking about the media, not you, bro. Okay, for sure, for sure. But I always appreciate the info, man. Always. And appreciate the support, man. Tay say, I think it'll be in December. That's the rumor, bro. That's the rumor. You know what I'm saying? That's the rumor, but I don't hear enough on the media to validate that Deontay Wilder is coming back. Like, they're trying to keep it suspenseful because they're not hearing anything, right? So they're trying to just ride it off and keep talking about Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua. That's all I'm reading. Across most of the headlines, Tyson Fury, Anthony Joshua. People want that fight so bad. If they can sit up here and just exclude Wilder and exclude Pulev, it'll be all good. But listen, I'm going to tell you people, that fight is not going to be as exciting as you think it is. If Tyson Fury fights Anthony Joshua, that fight is not going to be exciting like you think it is. Even though all the belts will be on the line, if that was the scenario, it won't be exciting as you think it is. Believe it. Tyson Fury would be too smart for Anthony Joshua. Anthony Joshua tried to run around the ring and make it a boring ass fight to try to put away some rounds. It's going to be crazy, man. Leopold said, real talk, that's what they want for sure. You know, Eddie always on some bullshit. You know, you get some US media segues, right? Platforms. And this would kind of, you know, turn my stomach a little bit. I saw one media platform. I'm not even gonna mention their name, of course. I don't have time to be, you know, talking to the grown babies. You know, they over there just showing Eddie Hearn so much freaking. I respect what he do for the sport of boxing for his fighters. But then you have some people that just sit up here and like calling him Sir Eddie. Like, come on, man. Come on. Why? Appreciate your patience, everybody. Real talk. Man, everything's in chaos over this motherfucker. The internet connection, the freaking global chaos, along with the pandemic, man, the protests everywhere. Everything is just crazy right now, man. Hodges said he cheated with pads and loaded gloves. Well, you know what? Absolutely not going to get any resistance from me on that, because we know shit was funny. We absolutely know shit was funny when it came to his gloves. Absolutely, people. I just wish more could have been done about it closer to when the fight was over with. I wish it could have been a little bit more time invested outside of us being shut down from the pandemic, people. Not to sit up and preach about shit, but I'm just saying, like, it would have been great if the pandemic wasn't here, and maybe they would have put more focus on trying to find out what the fuck was going on. And, you know, so people can understand that Tyson Fury has been caught cheating before. He's been, you know, caught using pads. He's been freaking tested positive for drugs, all that shit. But y'all, hey, those of you that sit up here and cheer for him over here in the US and boo your own champ, hey, don't get me on that shit. Don't get me. I'm trying to be positive right now. I'm trying to be positive in the light of everything that's going on. But don't get me on that shit on how people turn their back on him. No. They didn't turn their back on him. They just let their voice and boos reign a little bit louder than usual. That's all. Tay said, I think it'll be in December. In Vegas, more than likely. Yeah, that's where the money at. That's where the money at. Hard to say it, white. They proved it. Well, if anything was proven, it didn't affect Tyson Fury. With Mr. Caretaker coming out, him relinquishing his license, I'm sure Tyson Fury knows what the fuck is up. He knows that shit. Tyson Fury is smart, man. Very clever, crafty group of people, those gypsies. Excuse me. But unfortunately for us over here, we can't get any retribution from it because the boxing, the powers that be, they did nothing. They did nothing. It wasn't no trial. It wasn't no freaking investigation. We wasn't able to get shit from it. So we just have to wait for the Deontay to get back into the ring on the trilogy to get his belt, to challenge for his belt. You know what I'm saying? That's the only thing we got to wait on. Because if you're waiting on WBC to sit up here, it ain't going to fucking happen. Mauricio Suleiman is not going to start up an investigation and put money into something that he's let expired March, April, May, now June. There's nothing coming of that. There's no way. If you didn't confiscate those gloves on the night of, if you didn't look at the footage already, guess what? Shit ain't going to happen, people. That's why I don't talk about it that much anymore. I did when it happened. I firmly believe something was fucked up about Tyson Fury's gloves. Even though you have boxers and everybody else is talking, saying that, the people that's saying it was Glovegate, they don't know what the fuck they talking about. They don't know shit about boxing. Well, listen, sometimes you don't have to step in the ring for common sense. If Deontay has knots on his head and he fought 7 rounds in there with one other opponent that he was connecting with during the fight and not Kenny Bayless, and the video doesn't lie with him flicking his jab and the glove flailing all over the place, it's not something that you see in the sport of boxing that's normal. So just to say that media and certain boxers that spoke up and said the same thing, you can't say everybody don't know shit about boxing just because it sounds good, just because you don't like the fighter. A lot of motherfuckers just don't like the champ just because the way he look and the way he fights. That's fact. We ain't heard nothing from Stewart since the fight. Man, you ain't never lied. Sugar Hill, that dude has been absolutely the most quietest person. And once again, remember the live that I said when they asked Sugar Hill about the cameras being turned off? It's like, I was paying attention to something else. And then they say, well, what about the glove situation with Tyson Fury? They say Sugar Hill said the commission was back there. They checked the gloves. He didn't really go in detail about anything, man. And, I really didn't know the cat that much before he stepped in there for Tyson Fury. Real talk. I just didn't keep up with him. But I got more deterred hearing him not take responsibility to elaborate. If you would have just elaborated, we would have been good. But you didn't elaborate. You gave elementary answers because you didn't respect the fans. You got your paycheck. If that's what you went in there to do, because you felt you need to get the strap off Wilder by setting the glove up a certain way, man, so be it, man. Fuck it. You know what I'm saying? We all seen what is not a normality in boxing go down on February 22nd. We seen this shit happen, y'all. If you don't see the shit happen on anybody else, it don't matter. You can get 15 to 20 fighters that attempt to emulate what Tyson Fury did, and it doesn't work because they're not putting in the effort. But what we seen in the first fight and what we seen in the rematch is nothing else need to be said. He's a cheater. Tyson Fury is a cheater, period. Yeah, he's good for the cameras, but come on, y'all. Just like y'all, y'all demand me not to get on here and act like I'm straight out the Peachtree Academy. You know what I'm saying? Wearing a uniform to school every day. You know what I'm saying? Y'all demand more. Seriously, y'all be smart about this shit. Y'all know Tyson Fury a cheater. Come on, man. Y'all know that shit. Y'all know that shit. Y'all know damn well the man came back and used mental illness. For everybody that has a mental illness, he played upon that shit for his own benefit to come back to the sport so he wouldn't be held accountable for being a cheat. That's real talk. Y'all need to do better. For those of you that try to ignore the fact that Tyson Fury isn't cheated, just do a little bit better, man. Hold yourself accountable for ignoring. But yet you placing all the culpability on Wilder for the way he looked in the fight. You want to talk about uniform and shit. That's all I'm saying, man. Just be better, bro. Just be better with understanding that a lot of y'all motherfuckers booed y'all own champ. You know what I'm saying? That's what you did. You supported heavy a guy from a neighboring country who's a repeated cheat and came back to the sport and used mental illness as a storyline to gain gullible U.S. boxing fans that didn't like Deontay Wilder anyway. So what happens on social media? Y'all start dogging out Deontay Wilder, say, oh, he can't box, he can't do this, he can't do that. But then again, you're talking about a dude that's a drug cheat. Not just Pez, but cocaine too. Come on, y'all. I mean, come on now. We hold ourselves to a standard over here in the U.S. as boxing fans. Why are you gonna let a UK fighter come over here and play you like a fiddle? Man, you know what the fuck was going on. I don't like to get too deep into what reality is, but y'all didn't like my man. You know what I'm saying? Y'all didn't have that true genuine love. Not y'all that's tuned in, but I'm saying the ones, they didn't have that genuine love at the Staples Center. And as much as I don't want to do this, as much as I don't want to do this shit, I have to. I'm going to. And y'all ain't gonna like it. But during this time that we in right now, for all the people who are trying to say, let's go up here and make our voices known. Well, that must not pertain to boxing. It must not pertain to boxing, because I didn't see all these people gathered around to support the champ and the California when it meant something. Not when he was up here fighting Luis Ortiz, not when he was fighting Bermane Stavern, not when he was fighting Malik Scott, not when he was fighting Arthur Spilka. You know what I'm saying? Not when he was fighting all these people that wasn't a Tyson Fury, that wasn't a white UK fighter. You know what I'm saying? Y'all wasn't giving him that treatment. You know what I'm saying? That unwelcome treatment. See, when he fought Luis Ortiz and Bermane Stavern, can you imagine if you would have extracted the energy in the second Bermane Stavern fight and you correlated and you transferred that energy over to the Staples Center when he fought Tyson Fury, the first fight, it would have been much different. But y'all let this motherfucker come out there with a red, white, and blue Apollo Creed outfit on and dance himself through your damn heart, stomp on it, put pinholes in it, just fuck with y'all like a little puppet without cheering the man on like we're doing in all this protest. I know it's two different situations, but a situation like this proves that we can come together. We can come together for a common cause. It's just all about who we're coming together for. And you have a person that never went to jail, you know, never been suspended from the sport, right? Never been to prison, doing what he's supposed to do, had 3 jobs at one point in time, bronze medalist. And he comes in here and try to be the people's champ. And you know what? He gets stabbed in the back. I know y'all don't want to fucking hear it, but guess what? I'm not here to sit up here and have y'all chaperone me and basically think I'm gonna mince my words when it comes to that. That's fact, y'all. That's fact. We coming together for a common cause for, a lot of individuals that lost their lives unjustly, right? But you have an individual that is alive and well and a big influence on the public eye, and he gets treated like, man, some of the people that we're seeing on TV right now. Real talk. The only thing y'all haven't done is put hands on them. But the criticism has been tremendous. Y'all know I'm telling the truth. The criticism has been tremendous. The boos that we was hearing is nothing short of some of the shit that we're seeing right now with all these protests going on. Period. It's sad. Y'all see the video. Y'all see the pictures. We have a heavyweight champ right here on our home soil, and the fans are booing him. Then we have a recent Ahmaud Arbery and George Floyd to get killed, and we all come together and march. The man was black. Both of them was black. They was the same complexion as me, Wilder, and a lot of other people. But y'all was booing him as he was walking through the ring. But the protests, the voices of the protests of boxing fans should have rained out. Like, people not sitting up here digging deep into George Floyd and see what he had going on. It's the simple fact that what we saw on there and the way he was treated and the outcome of the way he died, people joined together to protest change for injustice, right? And I'm telling you this, you got Deontay Wilder. I mean, what does he have to do? He have to commit a crime? And no, it's too late for that. The man turned 35 years old this year. You don't have to go and do something fucked up or wish somebody hurt you for them to like you. If they don't like you, then fuck them. If you're doing everything right and you want to be the people's champ and they don't like you, fuck them. It's all good. Retro Rob TV, what's good, man? Appreciate the donation, my brother. Appreciate that. Ohio Runs Boxing said the truth hurt. The truth really hurt. Yeah, that's all I'm trying to say, man. How is they acting? They acting up here in Boston, destroying our community. Sharif Ali, man, salute to you for stopping through and what we're coming together for. Yeah, we come together for, I'm not going to turn this. This is a catch weight freaking boxing episode. I'm not trying to turn it to stuff dealing with politics. But check this out, people. As I'm looking at you, we're in a serious time right now. It's tough. It's a serious time. I'm not here to point out people and what they're not doing in this common cause. That's not what I'm trying to do. I'm not trying to compare Deontay Wilder to George Floyd. I'm not. I'm just saying, like, what I seen out there on the front lines, what I seen with people coming together, and even the blacks amongst blacks was arguing. And then you had some good moments where the protest was going the way it's supposed to be. I mean, y'all seen it if you watch my live, right? But still, we fragmented. You have people that really don't have a clue of what they're there for. They just come there because it's a lot of people and they're trying to start something. Some people just dare to start trouble. But Sharif said, those that remain silent to the atrocities are contributing to their own demise. Wait until it comes to their yard. I need to read that again. Those that remain silent to their own atrocities are contributing to their own demise. Wait until it comes to their yard. And I couldn't have said it. I couldn't have read it, and you couldn't have said it any better, my brother. Solid summation, and I appreciate your words, man. Rob said, keep the heat coming. I've been watching. I appreciate that, man. And once again, thanks for donating. I try to tell people, certain individuals cut from different cloths, right? Certain people get on here and they'll point out everybody that's not doing something during these times, but you don't see them down there in the front lines marching and protesting for change. Period. It can be for George Floyd and everybody else that's attached to that as a black man in society. Period. We just happen to be a part of certain situations that's been going on for years, decades. I know people don't want us to talk about it too much more, but it would be good if we can just be a unit without a reaction to a situation that we're going through right now. Do you understand how important Colin Kaepernick was to basically protest in silence, to protest in peace? And he was basically blackballed out of the NFL just for taking the knee during the anthem. Now, what I want to ask you all, where's the anthem now? Have you even heard someone mention the national anthem to bring us together? No, right? All you've been seeing is live after live after live of people looting, killing, burning. They just been out in the public destroying businesses. And just to think, only a couple of weeks ago, we was up here thinking, how long is it going to take for business to recover from the pandemic? How long is it going to take since the economy has been shut down? How long is it going to take for people to build back up these businesses from losing money that they didn't have? And then this hits. This is bad. This is absolutely bad. And the IG word has to come up, the ignorance, right? And I'm gonna read some more comments. The ignorant part of it is somebody like myself will go out there and sometimes I record with my phone and take pictures at the same time. I did in boxing matches too, right? And then you get my people, just because I'm clean shaven and got a low haircut, they'll sit there and think you law enforcement. They just want something. They just want something to take a dig at. And it's hilarious. It's hilarious. It's like, who you working for? And then I had one of the main supporters that was talking to the people. She turns and asks me, say, are you with us? I was like, I was born before you were. When I was over here at ATL, you wasn't even born yet. Youngin, you know what I'm saying? You wasn't even here. And then you want to ask them a question, say, are you even from ATL? Are you from ATL? A lot of you all migrated down here and you want to claim this shit now. Now, I give a salute to all the young future leaders that was down there talking on the mic. I get it. But come on, man. I was on these stomping grounds before you was born. Period. I know some people don't understand, but I'm already 50. I ain't gonna sit up there and answer questions to an individual that know nothing about me. And the ones that was trying to provoke it, I don't have any words. As long as you don't have anybody incite anything towards me or any type of negative energy, we good. I'm not worried. Those of you that have your platform on YouTube and you want to go up here and talk about other fighters or athletes that's not speaking out, no, get your ass out there, protest, walk with your city like I've seen a lot of people do. Shout out to Deion Nichols. I've seen him up in Alabama. I've seen John Jones out there, on the streets. I did see Israel Adesanya at a protest or whatever, doing what he's doing. Whatever. And several other people. But I just don't, man. I don't know what people think, but I'm not afraid to go out there. I was out there for quite a long time this weekend and yesterday. And I was out there for a purpose to freaking protest change, man. You know what I'm saying? That's what I was out there for. But don't get on here and dog out other black people for not speaking up. I think that's coward ass shit. I think that's fuckboy shit, man. I ain't gonna lie to you. I think that's some really fuckboy shit. Like I'm all about some explain to certain people that if you've never been in a leadership position, you don't know how to lead. You don't know how to go out here and do something first. I don't care what people say in this time where they want to see reality TV. Go out there and make a change and do shit on your own. Don't sit out here and point the finger at other black athletes and say they ain't doing shit. Why they ain't talking? Why should they talk up? Why? Just because something happened and everybody's out here fucking life up? Now, what if those people that you're talking about need to stand up? What if they stand up and get in front of the mic and say, you know what? I took too long to come speak up. You know how many black elites, when I say black elites, people that have a higher platform than myself, right? I ain't talking about these YouTube people either. I'm talking about the ones that celebrity status, athletes. I'm talking about the ones like these boxers and everybody else. Everybody. If one come up here and speak, then you'll get another person pointing the finger why they ain't spoke up. Why Denzel ain't spoke up. Why Oprah ain't spoke up. It's none of your fucking business. Just let the shit ride. Do you? You go out there on the front lines. You go out there in the middle. You see and hear what the people are talking about. You're going to see the good and you're going to see the ignorant. You're going to see the good and you're going to see the ignorant. Period. Believe that shit. All I got to say, you know, Hodges and everybody else, man, y'all stay safe out there because they fucking people up. They fucking people up, man. A protester came to my apartment complex, cussing out security, cussing out my security and neighbors. Listen, you got people that's coming from different area codes into the proximity, causing trouble and causing people harm. And the only thing I'll say to those people that encounter these individuals, don't show them no cushion. That's all I'm going to say. Don't give them no cushion. These people, where was these people when COVID-19 was going on and we didn't see these protests? We didn't see people looting. We had curfews and stay at home. It seemed like life was peaceful, right? But now all of a sudden, the spell of COVID-19 has been broken and we are now focused on survival. Survival. We're focused on survival, y'all. Like it's going to be a couple of years before we get to see the economy and life back the way it used to be. Some of these people that's breaking in and looting, they're rolling in groups. They're going from city to city, sparking up and inciting looting, breaking into stores. And if they can get a crowd that's big enough, they feel like they're blended in and they can just go make it happen. But like I said, man, if it presents itself on your doorstep, man, don't give them no cushion, man. They don't deserve it. They don't deserve it. I firmly believe that. They don't deserve it. They're going around here beating shop owners. They're going up here murdering motherfuckers. And you're supposed to goddamn try to put your hands up and say, you know what? I come in peace. I come in peace. No, man. Fuck that. I don't promise shit. I ain't gonna get on here and promote nothing. I'm just saying it's too many people that I've seen, even with the protests that I attended down here in the A. All that shit wasn't gravy. I didn't put up a lot of pictures that I wanted to that dealt with some bullshit. But I can tell you what, there are some individuals that's down here that's not from Atlanta. There are a lot of individuals that's causing trouble. The protest that we had early on that day, yesterday, was very peaceful. You know, the officers kneeled, APD kneeled. You know what I'm saying? It was very, very peaceful. What did I say on my live? I said, once the lights go out, you're going to have motherfuckers down here acting stupid. Sure enough, the one at 5:30, the crowd was 5-6 times larger. You had cats down there looking for heat. They had cats down there looking for trouble. And I'm rolling solo. Man, I roll solo. It's shit that you don't fear. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm just telling you. You either about that or you're not. I'm down there doing this shit on my own. So everything I'm seeing firsthand. Nobody's telling me about it. I seen motherfuckers trying to start and incite trouble amongst the crowd. They wanted to goddamn throw shit at National Guard that wasn't even doing anything. You know what I'm saying? These National Guard, they're just standing there. They're not even really wanting to be there. Me being retired military, trying to freaking talk to them, I'm like, I can't even spark their spirit because some of them people want to be up there marching and some want to be at home. If you grasp what I'm saying, some of them don't want to be there. They just want to go home. That's real. People use other people's stories to push their own agendas. I have to agree with you on that. Sharif said, if you're not involved in this monumental time in world history for future generations of your own soul and family, pandemic, injustice, protests, riots. What's going on, T. Mason? How you feel? You know, Ali, I agree with you, bro. It's hard to convince people if you ain't never been in a situation where somebody can relate to you. You know what I'm saying? It seemed like people got to relate to you doing something for them to support you, you know? But the shit I've been doing, it's been my own action, man. I didn't jump on social media and tell nobody I was going out here to the protest on this past weekend. I just went out there and did the shit and went live the next day. I didn't even go live the first day because, to be honest, shit was tense. Shit was tense. Yes. Shit was very, very combative. You know what I'm saying? Like I said before, I've been to combat. It's certain things from this city that I've experienced that I'm not really frightful of. You know what I'm saying? I just don't have that mentality. You know what I'm saying? So when I'm out there at the protest, I'm going out for a common cause. But when I get there, you have people in the earlier protests, which was cool, organized. But when you get a shitload of people, they're not listening to the peaceful ones. They're not sitting up there listening. You got these young, motivated millennials. Some of them trying to spread the message, man. And some are out there with goddamn ski masks on, and they looking to do dirt. Serious, they looking to do dirt. And I can't even sit up here and sugarcoat it on how disrespectful a lot of these motherfuckers is being towards law enforcement. Just because I'm in here talking about it, I'm black, don't mean I have to walk through the street. I ain't a follower. I don't have to walk through the streets and disrespect law enforcement. But I do and will have a word on the one that had his knee for 9-10 minutes on the neck of George Floyd, all because there's some type of conflict out of the back of the seat. Absolutely. Understand me when I tell you this. Absolutely. I would have had no problem walking up and covering that guy if it meant saving his life. That's real talk. I ain't doing that shit for views. Y'all already know. Those who come and support me. But it comes a time in your life where you got to stand for something, right? I don't have a problem standing for shit. Me looking at that video, I want to just go over there and say, listen, I wasn't gonna have a problem with Tao. You know, the Asian that was sitting up, I won't worry about him because he really a follower. All he has is this. I don't have to worry about him. I read him already. All he would have did is came over. If you would have got one person to go over there and attempt to cover and remove the knee, of course there would have been repercussions, probably even death. But the whole point is we wouldn't have went through the process of people out here looting. You got to be willing to stand up and sacrifice yourself for a common cause And it may be about somebody that you don't know in life. But everybody don't have that heart. They don't have that freaking blood running through their veins. They'll talk all day long, but they will not get out there on the front lines of a freaking protest, solo dolo, in the middle of this shit and see what's going on collectively. They just get on here on YouTube and talk about that shit. I'm not putting myself over anybody, but y'all see, man, y'all see what it is. All it took for one person, the dude that was up there talking about he go to jiu-jitsu school and everything. I commend the brother for being up there and patiently talking, but dialogue was over. When you knew he wasn't going to remove his knee, you should have attempted to go cover. That don't mean you have to assault the officer. You could have rushed and tried to cover. Of course, it was going to be ramifications, but we could have been listening to George Floyd be in the hospital, but he's living. And then all the other chaos is going around globally. We wouldn't have to see this shit because it's going to affect all of us. Believe that shit. This is going to affect everyone. Have y'all been talking about the second wave of stimulus checks? Have you heard anything about the stimulus checks? Do you think the president is going to send out stimulus checks when people out here jumping in stores and shit? Burning up police cars, freaking looting police stations. You think a second wave of stimulus check coming from him? Man, y'all crazy. Y'all crazy. You think that's coming? Hell no. Mohammed, what's good, man? Shree said all over the same narrative. Mainstream media's sticking to their script. If it don't bleed, it don't lead. You seen a weekend warrior in Minnesota in the mayhem with a crossbow, instigating and inciting a beatdown on himself. Once again, absolutely. I can't say this enough. Like, I don't sit up here and cover just black fighters, right? But I'm from the South. I have no ifs, ands, or buts about questioning what that's about. I may have others that sit up here and think I need to fall in line with their narrative, just like Sharif said. But no, I have my own narrative, man. And if I need more substance for a narrative, I have to go and gain intel. I have to get feedback and data. You know what I'm saying? I can't sit up here and tell you how the protests are going and how people are acting unless I go down there myself. Unless I go see what's going on by myself at 50 years old, people. I'm not sitting up here behind a mic asking why other fighters ain't speaking up. Why in the fuck do you have to reach to the next black person to speak up because George Floyd lost his life? You know how many friends I had lose their life in combat? You know how many friends I've seen come outside that wire? You know how many people that I've lost in the military? You don't hear me getting on here talking about that shit all the time. Well, I don't hear any other vets up here talking about the comrades they lost. Man, come on, man. Y'all need to get the fuck out of that. Just because one black person lost his life again, we have to protest for change and be non-tolerant, educate ourselves, and be ready. That's what has to happen. You can't keep on sitting up here saying, no, you didn't talk up, you didn't talk up, you didn't talk up. But you didn't get your ass from behind the camera and go out there to a protest. I'm talking about in the thick of it. In the thick of it. In the middle. Go in the thick. Go on the front lines so you can see all the ignorance and chaos. But yet you can hear the positivity. You can hear the message of those who's actually trying to, get everybody to unify. But look, we have black, we have white, Hispanic, Asians. All that shit was out there. Do that mean we was walking as a unit? Some part of it. When the officers took a knee. But I don't care who you are. You can't come up here and say, well, you cooning, man, because you don't like law enforcement. Y'all use that cooning word too recklessly. When the people understand that, You're not going to be a follower. You're not a pack rider, anything like that. They want to say the first thing out your mouth if you don't agree with their narrative that you're cooning. And that's not the case. What type of dude would I be if I served and went through shit in the military, the goods, the ups and the downs, and get out here and act like a hoodlum and say, well, I don't respect some of the law enforcement officers, well, all of the law enforcement officers, and some of them are prior military, just because of what one racist rogue officer did. And we all know that, we all know, just because I call him a racist, don't mean that's the entire force. What he did was absolutely and utterly fucked up. He showed extreme prejudice. He took a man's life when he could have, look, he had the option of letting his knee off the man's neck. But what he do is put his hand in his pocket, pushing down on his leg, rolling his knee just to get that scream. You know what that shit took me back to? That same scene on Django, when Jamie Foxx was begging for that guy not to beat his wife. And he said, I like the way you beg, boy. That's the same shit, people. That's the same shit. Come on, man. Come on. That's the same motherfucking scene. He wanted that man to scream and plead for his life. It comes a time you have to stand up for something. That don't mean you have to agree to everybody's narrative, but you got to stand up for something. Do not get your black ass on here talking about, you need to speak up. Don't do that. You speak up. You goddamn lead by example, and others will join. If you're not willing to lead from the front and take everything that comes with it, if you're not out here in the middle of the protest, seeing and hearing what people are saying, I don't know what to tell you, bro. Don't come up here talking that shit to me. Because I don't get up here on social media talking about, hey, everybody, I want you to tune in. I want this to be the biggest live ever. I need all the views. I never once jumped on here and posted anything about going down to the protest. Not once, man. I never told anybody I was going to a protest in the A. Solo. Not once. Y'all need to stop calling out other black people that have a platform and saying y'all got to get up and say shit. Come on, bro. Saluting on Collect on the Ground, Data Content WCS. I always appreciate your input, Sharif. Thanks for dropping in when you do, man. Real talk. Keith said, hey, Scotty, what's up, man? During the day in St. Louis, the protesters were peacefully, but at night, there were outsiders who out looting and destroying property, which take away from the protest of police brutality altogether. I need to reread that again. He said, in St. Louis, the protesters are peacefully, but at night, there were outsiders who out there looting and destroying property, which takes away from the protest police brutality altogether. Rob TV said, and I appreciate that, Kawi. Appreciate that, man. I'm about to speak on it too. Rob said, where's all these Crips and Bloods? Where's all these so-called street dudes? I'm gonna tell you where they at, because I ran into some. Look, they out there. Oh, they out there. Believe me, they're out there. It's not about them right now. You have a lot of individuals and groups are blending in with the protesters. When the lights drop, that means when it gets dark outside, that's when they come out to play. Now, granted, in certain areas, they don't have to wait till the lights drop. Santa Monica, they was up there looting and shit. They didn't care about anything. But the dumbest part that people is not understanding, if you look on my slideshow, apart from some that I have, they're not looking up to the high points and seeing the feds up there with these binos and these cameras recording shit. They pay people to sit up here and do this. They're gonna look at film. They're gonna sit up there while you up there doing all this bullshit. They're sifting through all the footage to picking. They can zoom in and shit. All these people that's running in and out these stores with no mask on. You know, I heard they sit up there and raided Fight Club. That dude who spent most of his life savings building up that, you know, getting those limited edition shoes and all that, his shit is gone. It's dudes out here in the street with something he worked his life for. It's people out here, you know, that has businesses that was murdered, from what I'm hearing. You know, he's talking about St. Louis. That's one of many footprints that's out here being obliterated right now, with outsiders that's rolling up, parking their cars wherever they're doing. They're rolling in groups, blending in with the chaos, and they're going in there and destroying a city. But I can tell you this: the street dudes out there, they out there. Don't even get it twisted. They out. They're out. The only reason I didn't do a video of the entire time that I was out there, I just didn't want to. I wasn't trying. Listen, I wasn't trying to capture everything. I wasn't. My main focus is covering boxing, MMA, and combat sports. I wasn't trying to collectively cover what was going on in my city and have to go up here and edit that shit and clip out shit and do that just for views. That wasn't my purpose. I wasn't trying to put ATL on the map like that. I wasn't trying to do that shit for views. That's why I took pictures. That's why I just put pictures up there on what the common cause was and put the video out. And that's that. I wasn't trying to give you all everything that was out there because it was too much. I guarantee you, if I would have did a video of everything that was out there, it probably would have been it probably would have been up there. It would have been up there because there was some shit going on, especially at the intersections where the state troopers was at. You know, where they were surrounding the cars. It was getting disrespectful. And then where the law enforcement had stopped traffic on the side streets, you had millennials up there flicking off the law enforcement, being absolutely disrespectful. You know what I'm saying? It was some people out there just getting crazy. I mean, crazy disrespectful. And these are people who, believe it or not, they got to go home. They got families. Some of them don't. But they was getting absolutely disrespectful because they knew they wasn't going to come up there and do anything. Because basically the freedom of speech right now, this is the only time I've seen it implemented for years. The freedom of speech is being used in excess and people are not paying the price for it. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's unbelievable. The shit they were saying out there, unfreaking believable. Talking about people's family, talking about this and that. I wasn't going to put ATL. I wasn't down there to put ATL on the map like that for a protest. That's not what I do with my media platform. I just went out there to cover the protest. You know, not all the signs spoke positive about George Floyd murderer. You know what I'm saying? There are a lot of millennials, in my opinion, that be sparking up trouble. And them motherfuckers don't give a fuck. I'm gonna be honest. Some of the millennials, man, the way they was flicking off police to their face, just shooting a bird for no reason. Like law enforcement just sitting up there doing nothing. You know what I'm saying? And they up there just F you, F12, F this, F that. You ain't shit. You know, just it was crazy. And these young people too. These motherfuckers was in the super flyweight. They didn't weigh shit. They probably barely broke 125. Some of them motherfuckers that was out there talking shit with clothes on. They wasn't out there for the message. They wasn't out there to promote something, man. They wasn't out there for that. They was out there to cause trouble, man. What I want y'all to understand is that I want y'all to be safe out there. And I know it's cliche to say, but this is the front lines all over again. Seriously. Now civilians, and I'm not separating myself from you all since I'm prior military, but I'm trying to make a point. Civilians that has never been a part of any type of unit, a long-term program where you're faced with certain dilemmas which are hostile like this. Now we're in a state where it surpasses military, because right now the military, their structure that we have units that understand what the mission is. Right now in the civilian population, no one has a mission. There's just people everywhere breaking into shit, beating people up, blaming black people for doing everything. Just like that guy Pacquaio mentioned. We all saw that guy. He had 2 knots on his head and shit. And he said, "What happened to you?" "Oh, I was beat up by 2 black guys. You know, I had my window down. I said, all lives matter." But then again, once again, salute those millennials who always keep their motherfucking phone rolling. The dude had a freaking bow, a hunting bow. He's out there threatening people with a hunting bow. And look, majority of the people that was cracking his head open, they wasn't black. They wasn't black, y'all. They have people out here that's with agendas that constantly want to blame black people for everything to get shit started. Let me tell you, and you don't have to believe it, but this particular situation right here is life-changing. It's life-changing, people. It's life-changing. It's not gonna stop racism. That's never going anywhere. But this is a moment in time where people at home tuned in to all these media outlets and mainstream networks. They're not just seeing blacks rioting. They can't sit up here and say this is Watts. They can't say that shit. They can't say this is Katrina when it was mad chaos, when they didn't have any outlet, when Katrina flooded the place. They can't say that. They can't sit back and watch and say, you know what, look at all the black people tearing up their own shit. Because this has proven times has changed. You have all the races that was out there. You had all genders, male and female, and whatever else. Robbing, stealing, inciting. Did you see those 2 supposedly Antifa members writing Black Lives Matter on the building with spray paint? Just writing shit like it's motherfucking hopscotch. You know what I'm saying? Just like it's elementary. They just got spray cans, just writing shit to my F cops on the freaking building, and then put BLM right next beside it. You have motherfuckers out there just sending false messages when they don't even support nothing. They just out there to provocate and move on to the next. Them the heads that should be being cracked, period. I ain't gonna lie. Those heads right there, the ones that's blending in and they're basically giving people bricks, those are the ones that should be dealt with. People who are being wrapped all the way up in all black so they can't see their skin, just from the face area. They're going in here breaking bricks and shit like that, handing them out. And then you have some of the civilians exposing them. Those are the ones that need their head cracked because they don't care. This is life-changing in many ways because you have people that just sitting back and saying, damn, it's fucked up, y'all. They can't turn in their household and say, you know what, them blacks still fucking up. They seeing their own people. Whites are seeing other whites out there. Women are seeing other women. Males are seeing other males out there of different races fucking, shit up. Stuff that they frowned upon when blacks protested, and they say we was too volatile and we was too loud and we were just angry individuals. For those of you that might feel that way, what are you saying now? What are you saying about these individuals that's out here doing this now? What are you saying? Enlighten me. What's your take? What's your thought process when you're sitting in your home and you see all these races out here, all these ethnicities burning down businesses, burning down police stations, busting police cars, busting other people's cars that they work for. We just had 6 law enforcement officers, in light of everything, snatched 2 black college students out their car who wasn't being aggressive or anything. One was a male who's a driver, and it's female. I don't know if, they was dating or whatever, but they was attending college here locally. They bust the window open. They snatched the girl out the car. The guy had his hands up like this. They tased the shit out of him, snatched him out of his car. And thank God ATL ain't playing that shit, because they fired their ass quick and they got warrants. They have to turn themselves in by Friday. Their whole career is fucked up, all because they thought they can get away with shit. But look, just like somebody put up here, they say racism never went anywhere. Now it's just being recorded. Racism ain't went nowhere. Now it's just being recorded. You have someone of a different race or the same race recording an act. So now it provides more exposure, because being that we live in a social media era, people are more likely to put it online on Facebook and the shit goes viral. Are all these people nice individuals? We don't know. Is it a good deed for them to put a situation up there where someone is being fucked up? And, just for instance, the teenagers that was recording Derek Chauvin knee on George Floyd, and she's getting harassed right now or whatever for not doing. Look, this teenager who recorded the situation that's resulting in all this looting and shit, right? People are asking her, why you didn't do more? Why you didn't go over there and try to save him? That's how selfish people are. She recorded the video, but she was probably too scared. She ain't never been in a position like that. You can't force somebody to go up here and say, go save a life. Go save a life. She don't know that man. She don't know what he's on the ground for. She don't know anything. But you can't tell her, go save a life. It's your time. At her age, she don't know about that. Like, you got grown men up here that wouldn't go save a life. They don't know. The first thing people gonna start asking questions like, why should I save his life? Why? He must have fucked up and did something. But the guy has his knee on his neck though. Man, I don't know what he did though. But he dying. He's dying though. His nose is bleeding right now. He's calling from his mom. Look, he's calling for his mom. His mom is dead already. He's calling for his mom. The man is pissing on himself. Go save a life. I just wish somebody would have stepped up and covered the guy by all means necessary. That's all I'm saying. I just wish somebody would have covered the guy. And I'm making sure I'm using language that, people understand. Just cover the guy means get close enough to basically cover and remove the knee from his neck so he can breathe. Of course, there's going to be chaos. Of course. Of course, you might have got shot. Of course, you might have got tased. Of course. But if you totally understand what you're looking at, somebody's life is about to be taken, and you have a scumbag like Derek Chauvin that's basically has his hand in his pocket and he's rolling his knee on George Floyd's neck. It comes a time in your life that you have to take it to another level and sacrifice and save another man's life. If it's in you, you have to do it. That was the perfect time to do it. We watched George Floyd last breaths, and now we have to deal with the autopsy report where the first one said he had artery and heart disease along with toxins in his systems, right? Combined with restraint. You had another autopsy completed independently and say it was due to asphyxiation. And now we have another one coming out and saying he was on fentanyl. They're gonna run this man's name through the mud, y'all. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna try to destroy and degrade. Remember, all the shit you're doing now, if you ever die and your family have to fight, if you have a family like that, they're gonna have to fight for you. Understand that all the shit you're doing over here on social media, they're gonna bring up all that shit. If you do something that at this point in time you need legal representation, they're gonna go through all your livelihood. If you was on social media acting a fool, they're gonna find out. If you was on here, dogging out every freaking law enforcement officer you wanted to, they're gonna find out. And they're gonna bloviate it to something that you wasn't. Understand that's what type of era we in right now. You know what I'm saying? So I know it's a bit outside of boxing, but you know what? Along with COVID-19, and this particular situation with George Floyd, Ahmaud Arbery, Eric Garner, Tamir Rice, Trayvon Martin, Travis Scott, man, the list goes on. And I had somebody ask me, say, well, why you wasn't talking too much about Ahmaud Arbery at the protest? The protest was for a simple connection that we just witnessed. All right. It was for George Floyd that was down here. They had protests already for Ahmaud Arbery up in the other county, Flint. That's ways away, right? Though George Floyd wasn't down here at the time, I get it. But the process was law enforcement and civilians to communicate with one another in protests because it dealt with law enforcement. Now, you always going to have somebody say, well, it's been other situations that happen. Where's the outcry? I'm sure it's been other situations. I got it. But this situation, we have to talk right here, right now on how fucked up it was and how certain people need to teach their kids certain mannerisms that they should have when addressing certain law enforcement that gives you that energy. You know what I'm saying? Certain law enforcement or certain individuals in period might give you that energy. If it's the type of energy that you're not going to win, then you need to know how to you need to know how to react to it. And that doesn't mean clapping your hand and doing that. Listen, they blowing people away for bulges in their pocket. They blowing people away for having a bulge in their pocket. People, they blowing black men away from goddamn swinging their arms a little bit too much. Or first thing they tell you, uncross your arms. Y'all definitely teach your kids on how to understand that. I ain't never tell them not to stand up for themselves vocally, but I'm saying you have to teach them about that energy. I'm not saying this shit don't happen down here. Man, look, I seen it down here in the ATL. I seen it down here in the South growing up. I've experienced it. It's a reason why I left at 17 years old to get out of ATL and go into the military. It's a reason. I wasn't up here goddamn a saint. But I thought about fucking somebody up or go in the military. I chose the military at that time. It was good. It was rough. in the beginning, super rough. But I had a decision to make as a man, and I had to get on with my life. But make no mistake about it, people. This is life changing. Sharice said you have to be from that world or have it in you at the time to take the kind of action. Unfortunately, people freeze up in life or death situations. Hey man, thanks for highlighting that, Sharif. Those are astounding. You know, that summary you just put in there, it's profound for real. You have to be from that world or have it in you at the time to take that kind of action. Unfortunately, people freeze up in life or death situations. That's absolutely true. But look, when it comes down telling people that they're definitely going to raise up and put a fist up, that's not what we're talking about. We're not talking about one-on-one. Look, we're talking about defending your life, right? Or defending the life of somebody else. We're not talking about all the shit I hear on here all the time, you know, peeking in through the window where you always have bitch ass nigga this, hoe ass nigga this, bitch ass nigga. You have so many people sitting behind the screen that's putting forth energy, and it's a one-on-one type of deal on somebody that you think you can beat or you won't never see in your lifetime. I get it. That's just what type of era we in, right? But when you go to a protest, would you go in a group of people? Would you sacrifice your life for a friend when you know damn well they need you at the moment? Would you sacrifice your life? Would you go into a situation knowing that what you're about to do, you may not live through it, but you have to go and try to make a sacrifice to save somebody's life? Are you willing to do it? That's all my question is. The caveat on what Sharif said. You have to be from a world or have it in you at the time to take that kind of action. I mean, you can't really get any more clear than that. We easily can get on here all the time and get views and talk and be upset with trolls that come through and goddamn cuss their ass out and talk all the shit. That's not relevant shit to me, but it happens, right? But I'm talking about the individuals that will step up, and if presented with that moment, will you sacrifice your own life for a member of your family, immediate family, or any loved one? Would you step up and take that sacrifice? Would you save a life of an individual that you never met in your life, but you see that right now the way they're about to die is not right? So would you be that type of individual? Does your heart, are you mentally prepared to go into a situation knowing that you might not come out of it? That's something you have to think about. I'm just asking some of you to have your media platform on here. It's pretty heartbreaking in a sense to see motherfuckers up here. They'll use their platform to point fingers at other black people. This ain't the time to do that shit, because it's not just black people that's out here doing this. It's all races. Like I said, it's everybody. I don't have to mention races. It's everybody. It's everybody, y'all. It is everybody. It's everybody you can think of. I'm not going to narrow it down. Well, I saw 2 Africans here, and I saw some African Americans over there, and I saw some Caucasians over here, and I saw some Londoners over here, and some Spanish. No, I'm just going to say everybody. What I seen out there, it was everybody that was out there. I'm not sitting up here trying to kick any goddamn knowledge to y'all, but it's upsetting when you have so-called people that's all supporting black fighters. Just all they do is support black fighters. Black. I'm super black. What? Get your black behind and go out to these protests. If you want to support George Floyd, who was black, go let your voice be heard, or join the people in a peaceful protest for change. Stop going in here talking about Errol Spence, Deontay Wilder, Errol Spence, Terrence Crawford, Deontay Wilder. You support every freaking well-known black boxer, but you won't get up from behind the mic and go out here and protest? Man, I hope the real ones see who's out here. I wasn't on the outside. I wasn't out there looking at graffiti. Please tell me how. Tell me. You look at my slideshow. Tell me how much graffiti you see. Tell me how much emptiness you see. Don't get up here talking about you support every black fighter, but yet when George Floyd is murdered, all you doing is say, why? Why don't we see other fighters? Why are they speaking up? Because some of them fighters don't feel it's something they have to do. When Colin Kaepernick was kneeling in peace, we're not hearing the national anthem play over the loudspeaker to get these people to stop. But what Colin Kaepernick has right now is a lot of people apologizing. Kaepernick has a lot of people apologizing, y'all. After they done fucked this man's career up. It don't matter if he won a civil lawsuit. Kaepernick kneeled during the anthem. Now, what he was actually trying to do in protest, calmly, nonviolent, other people are calling to apologize and say, you know what? We should have took what you said seriously because this is out of control right here. But you know who I don't want to get out here and put himself in harm's way, so to speak, just to basically appease those who never support him to begin with? That's Kaepernick. I don't want Kaepernick. No, you did what you're supposed to do, my brother. You had the heart to stand alone. You had the heart to do this shit and walk as a soldier. Kaepernick had the heart to do this shit alone. And he got whipped for it. He got punished. He got blackballed from the sport he was making a living. Kaepernick made ultimate sacrifices, man. You don't owe people shit, bro. You don't owe people shit. You know why? Because they didn't respect you when you was up here doing it the right way. They want us to do it right way. Did you see that brother with the sign? The brother with the purple shirt on that had the sign. Did y'all see his message? It made all the sense in the world. We gave you peace, Martin. Now you get Malcolm. They're giving him Malcolm X. What Malcolm X said, by all means necessary, right? This is what we're getting. But understand one thing. All the people that's out here is not for George Floyd. They're not for black. They're not for repairing the strained communication between black people and law enforcement or individuals from different race with law enforcement. These people are here for self. But when they say Malcolm X was all about, by all means necessary. He was all about enforcement. Martin Luther King, not so much. That's why two of them brothers did not really get along with each other. They had two separate messages that they was sending, and they had their actions was different. Dr. Martin Luther King was much more in a peaceful stance, as in Malcolm X. He wanted enforcement. He wanted to do it with aggression, with violence. And that's what you're seeing out here, people just losing their mind. They're not out here doing it for George Floyd. They're doing it for themselves. We have millions and millions of dollars that we'll never recoup. Some of the stores that was around your town, you'll never see them open again. You'll never see them motherfuckers open again. Never. Once everything cools down around 4 or 5 years from now, you will see certain little pockets open back up. Why? Because this is just like the housing boom when the housing market crashed and went under. This is going to take us back under, right? Because we was just building up to a seller's market. Now it's going to end up being another buyer's market. The reason why I'm saying that is that we have over 40 plus million people on unemployment, which when this starts to clear up a little bit, Unless something come up from top, from Pennsylvania Avenue in DC, people may lose their homes. So therefore, you're going to have investors swoop in and pick up all these properties for cheap. And it's going to create the whole entire process over again, y'all. Look at Black Wall Street. Look at how much shit they lost. Look at it. It's not something that was just made up. Look at it. Believe me, this is the turn events on how it's going to all work out again. They're going to come back in when all these houses are going to be abandoned. People are going to be homeless. We got 40 plus million on unemployment. Do you think that's about to disappear? Seriously. Do you think that's about to disappear in the next 2 years? And not only in that 40 million people, you have fighters. You have combat sports fighters that are in that 40 million. You have individuals that were struggling through this pandemic. So to go in this particular process, and from what I heard, we just had in Long Beach, was it a 10 Planet Jiu-Jitsu school get burned down to the ground? Yeah. What's going on, Michael Lewis? What's good? What's good with you? Hey, appreciate that. Appreciate that nugget, man, Sharif. Appreciate that, my brother. Appreciate that. Michael said, if people had some balls, they would have intervened when them cops were kneeling on George's neck. And, you know, when you hear people saying, you know, fortitude, courage, balls, cojones, I get it. You know what I'm saying? I get it. And you know, you had to go into that situation knowing that potentially you may not have walked up out of there. But what have potentially could have happened if he released his knee off his neck, 9 times out of 10, in my opinion, he wouldn't have went back and assumed the position to say, let me finish kill him. It would have been too much. It would have been too many people to say, you know what? God damn, we just saw an innocent guy go up there and try to save a life, and he was killed. At least it wasn't George Floyd. At least you know the intent. And it would have been it would have been much worse if somebody would have stepped up to the plate and was actually able to save George Floyd's life and lose their own. Then the message might have resonated to people to say, you know what, when you see these situations, stop it. Just stop it. Don't let these situations continue to occur. Have some courage, have some fortitude, be a leader. Don't be a coward. Be willing to save somebody's life, but you can't tell people that because it's like, fuck it, man. I don't know what that dude did. I don't know him. I never met him a day in my life. Why should I sacrifice my life? Because it takes another level of human being. It takes you to be cut from a different cloth, first of all. But it takes another level of courage and intestinal fortitude to go up there and save a life of somebody that you know is in a bad situation right now through malice, and you have to act. I'm saying just by walking up on those 4 cops would have made them have to get off of George. I agree, man. And Tao just sitting up there, you know, just talking shit, talking about don't do drugs. He ain't never led shit but a fork to his mouth. Freaking scumbag, man. Now the conversation is muddled up again, and the enemy controls the narrative. A lot of these so-called, and by the way, I heard Derek Chauvin was moved to maximum security. How would you think? I hope he has that same freaking arrogance and ego, you know, knowing that what he did has caused so many changes for the next 10 years. This is life-changing for the next 10 years. This would be talked about for years and years to come. Those babies that are like 2 years old right now, 3 years old, this would be in their history books. Guarantee it. And you know why I say that? Because, you know, I don't sit up here and talk about education and all that other stuff. But when I was in college, right, I had a class where it was sociology. It had a class and I cracked open the book, and guess who I see in there? My homeboy. Number 7, I see Michael Vick. And I'm saying to myself, okay, what's the damn subject going to be about today? Because what you don't want to do, Professor, you don't want to bring up Michael Vick and start talking about dog fighting. You don't want to do that with me. So he had somebody read, and I say, Professor, why are we talking about Michael Vick? He said, oh, did you not? We haven't got that far down in the chapter yet, but do you not know what he did? I said, no, enlighten me. Because obviously you didn't read the paperwork of the people that's in your class and where they're from. I said, enlighten me. Oh, he was fighting dogs and he was doing, I said, listen, Professor, this is real talk, man. I said, Professor, I'm from the A, right? I'm from the South. Even though his dog fighting was up in there, Virginia, but I know Michael Vick, he was doing some good things down in the A, right? I said, let me tell you this of what I know. They've been dog fighting down in Atlanta ever since I was they've been dog fighting in the South ever since I was in elementary, in grade school. It's people that used to have 10 pit bulls chained up in the backyard that was fighting pit bulls. Easy. You can't see that shit now because people don't keep their dogs outside like that. It's totally changed unless you got kennels for your dog and stuff. But when I was growing up, you had houses down in the area that has multiple dogs strictly for fighting. So I'm telling the professor, right? I said, oh, yeah, it was bad on what they found. You know, they found some freaking cadavers up there, some dead dogs with bullets in their head and shit, you know, because they was dog fighting. I say, so you think that's bad enough for him to go to prison, huh? He said, yes. I said, but they've been fighting down here in the South dogs forever and a day. They've been fighting chickens forever and a day. Cocks. They've been fighting them forever and a day. Dogs, at the end of the day, are you crying over a freaking cow? Are you crying over a pig? The last time I checked, we got killing, what they call them killing dispensaries where they go over there and slice the neck open of them cattle and let them bleed out. You trying to tell me what Michael Vick was doing with 2 dog fighting warrant going to prison all because it was exposed? Let me tell you the only reason Michael Vick went to prison, people, is because he lied to the feds. That's why. Dog fighting in the South still happens to this day. People want to sit up here and try to use Michael Vick as an example in a textbook. And I'm saying to myself, you must have lost your fucking mind. They used to release dogs on black people. How all of a sudden you thinking that pit bulls that Michael Vick was fighting should be treated as human beings? No. Because I'm going to tell you like this. You got some people, once again, you got some you have blacks and whites down here in the South that's been raising pit bulls their whole life, and them dogs are juiced up, trained over and over again, and they fight them for big money. It happens all over. Florida, Atlanta, Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina. They're everywhere. Michael Vick only went to jail, and I'm trying to tell this professor because he lied to the feds. You know, that's all. He lied to the feds. And plus his cousin snitched on him. I always remember it's somebody in your family that'll snitch on you. A lot of these so-called white liberals are out here not support of our cause, but just cause they got time today. Plus foreign and right-wing agitators are getting our young folk wilding. Yeah, they have some agitators that's out there, and y'all should be very vigilant and aware of that. You need to stay focused on your surroundings when you're out there. You need to understand the ones on how they dressed and how they layered up. I'm gonna tell you, when I was out there, that shit was hot. I had just shades on and a black polo shirt. That's why they was up here thinking I was law enforcement. I didn't want to have to crack nobody up in the head, but I say, listen, do I look like I'm worried? I'm not worried about shit. But I know the ones that's out here with scully caps on, all the way mask on, and you got the ones that's wrapped up all the way you can't see shit. I know they was burning their ass up. If they wasn't drinking water, I know they had to sit their ass down because they was dehydrated. But yeah, they are agitators. Pulling out a phone is a powerful thing, but putting it to work is what get it done. You're right, though. This is pivotal time. I'm telling everybody who's tuned in, I understand the method for which some people are out here covering the sport and covering certain situations. You know, even in this particular situation, that's not my genre of reporting, but I usually let my actions do the word and go out here and get it done. Sometimes you have people that'll sit up here and they have to go live. They have to have people film them. It's not one freaking picture in that video I just released. I'm in it. Not one picture. Not one. I did not take one picture at the protest because that wasn't what I was trying to do. I was just trying to cover it as much as I can from front to back, see what I can get, and bounce. But every picture on there is what I did, what I took, and what I was able to get, and everything else. But be very cautious, people. Just do me a big favor. Be very cautious at some of the media outlets that you see that's going to dog out other people and say they were stupid for going down to a protest and they surprised they didn't get their ass whooped. The possibility you going down there in certain situations are bad. But you got to just understand what environment you in. I'm telling you. That don't mean be on the outside. I've seen some media that's so-called going out there. I'm not talking about riding a bicycle. I'm talking about foot patrol. I'm not talking about goddamn, oh, let me go out here at 8 o'clock in the morning and freaking look around. There's nobody there. So let me go take pictures of the graffiti. No. Get in the middle of that motherfucker so you can smell their breath. So you can goddamn hear the different tones of voices on who's there for the message and who's there to say fuck everything. Hear them. Smell the funk, the musk, all that shit from being out there sweating. That's what a protest is about. Go out there and let your voice be heard. Stop doing shit for views and scared to go out there. I don't want to hear the tough guy shit no more. If you can't bring anything on your platform dealing with this protest other than a clip that you sourced from another network, then your followers that's tuned in to you should question you. They should look at you and be like, man, you talked all that shit and you busy pointing the finger at other boxers and fighters for not speaking up, but yet you're not out there in the fight. You can't say that about World Combat Sports, man. I already been out there. I was out there this weekend and yesterday. I mean, so just take that focal point and know who's out here running their mouth and who's not. Slaughterhouses. That's what they call slaughterhouses. They have them. Look, they talking about Michael Vick got him in a book, and I have to break it down to a professor. And really, he took it for thought, though. And I told him, I say, you have no idea a guy's pulling up in trucks with dogs that are jacked up, juiced up, all that, man. They look like superheroes. But in no way, shape, or form, you bring a camera to that, you get your ass shot. This is like a lot of private organizations that fight. They do it on the private and they bet big money, big money. So therefore, you know, the slaughterhouses, though, why nobody's not crying about the chicken farms that they have out there? All the motherfucking chickens be all up on top of each other. Diseases. Come on. The horrible conditions, bruh. What else do we eat? Are we crying about a fish having their head chopped out and we scaling them motherfuckers? I mean, are we crying about that shit? Have you seen some of the people that work in slaughterhouses? How they might take a calf that's not as big yet and beat it. If it doesn't die immediately with the prod, that cattle prod, they'll freaking beat it over the head with a bat or try to knock it out. And sometimes they just don't go out. They just have to keep on beating them. Yeah, man. I mean, people should be mad about eating burgers. Yeah, you should be mad about eating burgers. That's all. Be mad about eating steaks. Michael said, I am ashamed of that family because I was Vic's cousin. Because if I was Vic's cousin, I would have fell on the sword because the media could crucify Mike. I would have taken care of my whole bid. That's what they do. And see, that's another source of commitment that you have to be really cut from that cloth to understand what you need to do. And like I said before, they wasn't going to get no bid. No. Michael Vick only did 2 years in prison, right? Check this out. It wouldn't have been any bid type shit. Excuse me. This how Michael Vick could have eliminated and avoided all that shit. If Michael Vick wouldn't have lied to the feds. If he would have went in there and said, you know what, I am in charge of the dog ring, okay? I have this and thing. There is some carcasses on there, and this, that, and the other. Of course, they would have confiscated his shit, confiscated all his dogs. They did. Boom, all of it. But don't just say it's not your ring. You're not in charge of it, because it was said that, you know, inside there was blood everywhere. It was this, that, and the other. That's what happens in pit bull fights. I've been to a share myself. Seriously, I have. Way back in the day. But for them, they lied to the feds and they end up getting, Michael Vick end up getting more. And people should understand one thing perfectly clear, right? And I hope some of them tuned in too. You should understand one thing perfectly clear when it comes to family. They may say blood is thicker than whatever else that liquid is. Hennessy, Crown Royal. Yeah, you might want to take it. Don't ever say blood. Don't ever say blood is thicker than water, because water, people consume that shit and piss it into the toilet all the time. Y'all have to remember that. Don't say blood is thicker than water. You got to find something else that you enjoy and ask yourself what's blood is thicker than. You know what I'm saying? Because you will always have a family member, when it comes down to saving their life, saving their ass, they will rat your ass out. They will snitch on you. Believe me, even if they didn't like you going into the military and they try to defame your career, they will snitch and try to talk shit about you. Yeah. Family. If they can't make it in the military, whatever the case may be, if they can't get the same job you got or whatever the case, they'll definitely try to, you know, in some people's family, they'll try to set you up or try to, you know, encourage or contribute to your downfall. And you should be very careful of that. It's always a snitch in the family. All you got to do is find out who's doing bad. Do you know if someone has papers on them? And it don't matter if they're on probation or not. If law enforcement wants to call them up to be a snitch on something, to help with their community service or their house arrest, you think they're not going to do it? You think they're not going to do it? Let's be realistic here. You think someone's not going to be a snitch if they got papers? Absolutely they are. I'm in Youngstown, Ohio, and the day before yesterday, they was peacefully protesting. Then people from Illinois and Texas got busted. They bust in. They did some little BS riots, and now we on the 2-day curfew. Blood will cut you deep, the deepest. I totally agree. And if any of my blood on here watching, and you know who you are, especially my immediate blood. You know, we'll never be that way. We'll never be good. So you keep on running away. You keep on telling people you're mad because everything that I did in life. But I know. Don't ever think blood won't try to cut you deeper. And once they get to the bone, they'll try to saw through the bone, goddammit, and take away the limb. believe that. But for those blood, I'm talking about my blood, y'all continue to do what you got to do. You ain't gonna stop the way I'm living, for real. It's gonna be another segment. Hey, it's gonna come a time when I'm gonna do a segment on here. I'm gonna tell y'all some real shit about the southern household, man, and some of these people and how they treat family. It's gonna be a long time from now because I don't put my personal business out there. But it happens down here in the South. Believe that. Blood will cut you deep, though. Real talk. Certain people next to you are only there to watch, cause help, and take credit for the downfall. I think I'll make an example of what Michael Lewis just said. Next to you and only, there to watch and cause and help and take credit for a downfall. To me, you have to really come from a situation where you was built a certain way as a kid, right? You had to be built a certain way early on to understand how tough you need to be in these times right here. And you're just not going to get a person that came up a different way, just a little bit softer, for them to automatically turn and say, you know what, I'm tough. I'm ready to put myself out there and handle these situations. I'm ready to go to a protest. I'm ready to put myself in danger. I'm ready to go into the thick of the front lines in the midst of the chaos. And everybody's can't do that because they wasn't raised like that. It's just as a person, they're not that. They don't have a reservoir of courage to get that fuel to mentally build them up to say, let's go. They don't. Period. And had no one else to rat on more than profile them. But I had family. I had some family, right? When I was due to come back down here. And because I was the only one to go to the military around, in my family. And my relatives, really. So I'm coming back down to the A, and I'm people telling me this, that, and the other, and I'm like, where did you get that shit from? Oh, I got it from so and so. For real? Why would they be doing that? Why would they be talking to you about that? And come to find out, these people that aren't doing anything, never left the ATL, they want to sit up here and just defame your character. Period. I even had a loved one steal my ID card when I came down here on leave one time. And I got mad with him, and I told him about it. He actually felt I was wrong for checking him on it. I say, if you know how important that we get punished for losing our ID card at a low rank, being an E3, E4, and you wasn't even standing at the same spot, why would you come over and take my ID card? That's coward ass shit. And then check this out. This person never even went to high school with me. When I leave, that person joins high school, but yet we out here in real life. We older, and he's going around telling some of my classmates lies. He's telling them lies, and my classmates are hitting me up on the DM. They say, "Hey, we got so-and-so over here saying that you this, that, and the other, and you all fucked up from combat, this, that, and the other." I say, he wouldn't know what combat was. He shouldn't be out there talking. He don't know what combat's about. The worst thing your loved ones can do is try to use combat and use medication on vets. When I can get on here and talk to you in a general dialogue and everything's okay. But you have families like that. They'll sit up here and tell other people, oh, don't fuck with them. You know, they goddamn went over that dirt. They went over to Iraq. They ain't right. They always they say, they ain't right. But you can carry on the conversation. Say, he ain't never fuck with me. I ain't never fuck with him. Ain't nothing fucked up about my carry on conversation. But they ain't right though. They ain't right. I had them reach out to somebody over my Facebook that knew me as far as the articles that I have on my website, right? And he was trying to explain to them that he was trying to imply that I didn't write the articles. Anybody who know and read my type of style knew. Who else Who else would do that? I mean, I have the template, I have the draft and everything else. He was just telling me I wouldn't write the articles. It just didn't make any sense. So always remember, always a snitch in your family, period. It's always something that's doing bad. That's a blood that'll get you fucked up if they can. They'll take the fall. Believe that. Don't ever think otherwise. Don't ever think that shit. I know for a fact, 0. Blood will cut you the deepest. Certain people next to you are only there to watch because people take credit for your downfall. Well, the only thing I can say about this anarchy that we in right now, because we in anarchy, y'all. This anarchy will last, in my opinion, no less than 10 years. I'm not saying the rioting, but I'm talking about the change that we currently in. It'll last for an easy 10 years. Boxing and a lot of other sports has changed for good. For those millennials that's growing up in this time, it's going to be extremely boring at some points because they weren't able to experience what we experienced growing up and being able to watch our biggest boxing matches or mixed martial arts and seeing sports thrive in basketball, football. All that has changed. All of it. There was some people that take their kids to college games every year. That was their way of going out and having some family time. And maybe if they had a sibling and stuff up there, they took them out to football games, college, NFL, basketball games, whatever. And now that this thing is taking place, it's absolutely changed, not only due to the restrictions that's been placed for COVID-19, but also now when it returns, you have to try to see if we're going to start having more violence at these particular games from what we've been watching out here. Because I'm telling you, it's a lot of people that's getting practice right now. You know, like Allen Iverson said, we talking about practice. Yeah, we talking about practice, y'all. Do y'all not understand that? It's a lot of cats out here getting practice. They're getting practice. So when you see footballs and everything, these football games, baseball games, the mentality and the energy for crowds. I'm not saying it never happened when I was coming up at a football game, but what we have going on right now, it may potentially change from, you know, the audience, the amount of people that you have on deck at these professional games. Seriously. It's only 2 words I can use for this, you know, this type of protest what people's trying to do. You know, the loitering and looting and encompassing. The encompassment, you know, everything that's involved is fucked up. It's no other words to use. It's fucked up. It's really fucked up. His life changes forever. It's going to take no less than 10 years. Like I said, it's fucking up, you know, your kids. I know some of your kids got out of school early. But just think about the mentality. And don't think I didn't tell you this, right? Think about the mentality if your kid have some individuals that have just been subjected to this particular anarchy and mayhem, and they're out in the streets doing this shit, right? And then when it comes back time to go to school, they have learned how to gather people to push an effort. They learn how to build a group up. They learn how to influence people. There are some individuals that's very young kids out here getting practice and knowing how to create mayhem and be an influencer. So you might start seeing it in your schools. And some people might say, man, I've seen plenty of people get jumped in school, but I'm talking about certain things that deal with mass chaos with ultimate malicious intent involved. And I believe wholeheartedly this will somehow bleed over into the school systems in certain parts that are hit hard. I believe that. I believe this is young kids getting some very good work in right now, picking up some gear, you know, running around acting like a fool. And when it comes to school, they may potentially be the ringleader to get up enough kids to do some fucked up shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying. Remember what I told you. It might be the case. Certain people next to you are only there to watch. I watched that Michael Vick story unfold, and cousins who recorded everything ran with Michael Vick's little brother who lived at the house at the time after being thrown out of college. Yeah, Michael Vick did take care of his brother, because when it comes to black people and you got money, they always want to make sure that you're taking care of your loved ones. Motherfuckers that don't even have anything to do with the field. They wasn't even in the motherfucking field throwing the ball. But Michael Vick, little brother, we all know, extremely talented cat. He could have did it. He could have did it big, but he just got in trouble. He's a firecracker, man. He's a loose spark. So therefore, yes, he was staying with his brother Mike. And also, when it comes to little brothers, sometimes they don't really understand the code as much as big brother that's on a different level. And I'm not saying Michael Vick's brother didn't care about his brother's career, but he might have felt like that whatever situation Michael Vick can get himself in, he can get himself out of. But when it came down to it, if it came to him getting in trouble, knowing that he didn't have the money his brother had, either two things gonna happen. He know his brother has his back, or he gonna snitch on him, period. He knows his brother has his back, or he's gonna snitch on him. Not everybody is down with big bro, especially when he's the one bringing in the money. Because a lot of times people have said, hey, come over here, man. How your brother doing? He want them to talk about him. So how your brother doing, man? Man, your brother the shit, man. I got one of his jerseys at home. I mean, little brothers don't want to hear that shit, man. Seriously, they don't. But yo, listen to the story, man. Watch the story. It's a good one. It's a good story. Real talk. And just think about the other guy, Burris. Burris had to do time for shooting himself in the leg, y'all. He had to do time for shooting himself in the leg. Where was his people? Who was freaking guiding this man and telling him what he's supposed to do in life? Plaxico Burris shot himself in the leg and did time, y'all. He was projected to go higher in the draft than Mike. Yeah, man, his brother was just a whole another level type of dude. I wanted to read off something from Terrence Crawford before I get up out of here. We've been in contact. He's talking about we've been in contact with Bob Arum and Manny Pacquiao. Them Crawford said Monday that at the Ak And Barak Show, which streams daily on DAZN and SiriusXM, they want the fight. We want the fight. So basically, we're trying to figure out the money situation. You know that the pandemic is going on right now. It's kind of hard to put on a big fight and no audience, and not coming home, not knowing how you're going to get the return back. Once again, the return back is the important key factor to these big fights. So we've got to figure out the details with that first before we can do that. And I believe everything he said. How did they get the return? They got to get paid. Excuse me. They got to get paid. Michael Vick's brother, man, he tried to talk to that guy. Real talk. He tried to talk to his brother and get him on the right track, but he just had a mind of his own. That's real talk. He was very talented, but I'm not sure y'all looked at some incidents that happened on the field with him, releasing that anger on other players. You just have to take a look at it, people. The guy had a temper. There's no way he's going to have that temper and play on a professional football league for a long period of time and take out his frustration either on the coach, the other coaching staff, the players, or whatever the case, or have to get in trouble off the field. You never know. But I heard from Brian Custer that there's a big interview coming with Crawford soon on podcast. I'll be looking forward to it. And once again, y'all be sure to check out my interview. I was actually in South Carolina, and I had an interview with Raquel Miller, Pretty Beast, and she's out of the Bay Area. She's 10-0 and 4 knockouts, right? And I truly appreciate her, giving me the opportunity for an interview because she didn't have to. She got things going on. I know she was getting ready for a big fight. But I want y'all to do me a favor, right? If you have any connects with any of the big fighters, my email is scottywhite@worldcombatsports.com. Once again, scottywhite@worldcombatsports.com. If you have a fighter that's willing, or may not know me, or they do know me, drop them the message that I would definitely appreciate interviewing them. I appreciate Raquel Miller dropping through. I was in South Carolina. It was storming real bad, so the Wi-Fi didn't work that well, the signal. But she still came on, man, made phone calls, made liaison, and we got the interview out the way. There was a lot more going on in my mind at the time because of the damn storm and shit. But I got it out the way, and I truly appreciate for her being approachable, not stuck up, very business orientated, very classy, professional. And I mean a lot when I say that, people. The reason why I say she was very classy because she's in the hurt business and she's one of the top names that's out there to fight, but yet she's in the hurt business. So she's not going around here acting like she has to put on this hard, super armored down demeanor, and let the people know that she ain't nothing to play with. She's in the sport. She can go in there and let her hands do the talking. That's all she got to do. She don't have to go here and bob her head and say, "Oh, where do we get in the ring, boo boo? Okay, boo boo, let's get in the ring." She was very professional, man. That was one of the better interviews. I totally liked it. Real talk. And I look forward to interviewing some more people in her camp, if possible. You know what I'm saying? But if you know any fighters, pass them that email address. Let them know. I'm a real one. I'll do my research. I will do my research. You all just have to trust me enough to know when I talk about boxing on the catchweight episode, it's going to be about boxing. If not, it will be Muddy Flats. The Muddy Flats is mixed martial arts. Those of you that know about mat time and everything else that deals with jiu-jitsu and all that will understand why I call it Muddy Flats. That's my terminology. You have to look deep into what that word means when it comes to the ground game of grappling. So try to be a little bit more consistent with understanding, I chose to split up the mixed martial arts and the boxing. When it's catchweight, it's definitely going to be nothing but boxing. I know we're in a hard fucking time right now, and we kind of got off subject. But you know what? I want to commend y'all for freaking stopping through. Ken, Michael Lewis, Ohio Run Boxing, Sharif Ali, Retro Brob Hodges. You know what I'm saying? Mike, M. Greg 64. I always go back and tell TJ Sports. I appreciate everyone who stopped through today, man. Alex Ayala, T. Mason, all y'all that stopped in. Salute. Keith Abdul Kawi, Muhammad. Man, I like the feedback. Tay Jones, Golden Warrior, Leopold, all y'all that dropped in. Real talk, man. It's a lot of outlets that get mad freaking live chat donations, but they barely even engage their people. They people up there talking amongst themselves. I think that's the more fucked up shit. Yeah, they're dropping you huge ass donations, man, and you're not even goddamn paying attention except to who. Look, you know what I'm talking about too. You know they pay attention only to the ones who drop the donations. That's it. They don't really engage the people who's talking and there for them. You know what I'm saying? Oh, I saw some shit that I didn't want to talk about. The Ken has put down here. He has projected to go. Not that I heard from. Okay, no. Hopefully, her and Carissa get the fight done. Who is her? Because if you're talking about Raquel Miller and Clarissa Shields, I think that fight won't happen anytime soon. The reason being, Ken, because Raquel Miller doesn't have the badges and the resume, right? And neither does Clarissa. I'm saying as far as opponent goes. But the one thing Clarissa has on her side is 3 divisions faster than any male or female to do it, all right? She absolutely has that. But when it comes down to it, she has only 2 knockouts with 10 wins. And also she was able to win a world champion in her 4th fight. World championship. So therefore, she has the credentials. All right. She's demanding that Raquel Miller have a belt. So now Raquel has a belt, the interim WBA. I think her first fight of step-up competition is going to be Hannah Gabriel. And we all know Hannah Gabriel can fight. We all know she's the truth. It's going to be somehow, some way she's going to have to build up her resume just a little bit to fight Carissa Shields, because Carissa just seems like she may not understand that the division is dense on big names to make big fights. Like, women are out here trying to advocate for equality when it comes to their sport, right? But they don't want to fight each other unless you believe they're going to have belts all over the place. And this is why I believe and know for a fact that's contradicting. Because outside of Amanda Serrano just facing Heather Hardy, which ladies do you see with big names just facing one another without saying you need to get a belt first? The same thing, Javante, and then Errol Spencer say you need to get a belt for it. And they get a belt for, then it's something else. You heard so many people say that. I think Keith Thurman told somebody that too. Get a belt first. Sean Porter says, I think, get a belt first. They get a belt, and then the fight isn't signed. Anyway, back to what I was saying. Carissa, in my opinion, will hold Miller to the fire because they do have a history. From what she said on the video on my interview, that she used to comb her hair. She used to be pretty close with her. But something I'm finding out that I don't find too much in the males side of transitioning from AMs to professional is that the women, they always feel they got to be at each other's throats as if they're fighting each other every other fucking week. Like, if you want the women's sport to grow, y'all have to combine, y'all have to unite, y'all have to lock up. Like, it's an old freaking cartoon. It say Wonder Twins activate. Listen, the women, in order for you to come together as a unit, to vouch for equal pay, so different voices can be heard, that is the only way you all going to get paid more than the scraps that y'all getting right now. Period. You can go in here and say, oh, I got this car, I got that car, but is it paid off though? Are you making enough money so you feel that you can stop boxing? If you're a champion, you need to get with another champion and another champion and another champion. All y'all continue to have these meetings with those individuals to increase your pay. Carissa Shields is not going to make that happen herself. She needs help. Y'all hear me? Carissa Shields needs help. She's not going to be able to speak on that as solo dolo, and she shouldn't be trying to. She should be trying to bring everybody that's important and may have a strap together I'm not saying she has to be the lead of it. I'm just saying get the top women, get them together and collectively speak and have talking points to get equal pay, to goddamn start getting paid and feel good about yourself that you changed the game. That you changed the game. You can't wait on to see if Carissa Shields is going to fight Layla Ali. Layla Ali has a name. She's been here, done that. Layla Ali has the Ali name. Make no mistake about it. If Layla Ali want to come back and demand $5 million, absolutely. But if indeed that fight takes place, right, people, and they get $5 apiece, can you continue to emulate the women's sport getting at least $1 to $2 million for big championships fight? Is there any way you can make that happen? That's where we at. That's where we trying to go. We ain't trying to do let's have this super fight. Let's have Shields versus Ali. That's just like I was telling people. Anthony Joshua needed Klitschko. And I'm just mentioning his name because they used to say how selling out Wembley and he's such a main star. That fight, Joshua needed Klitschko to make that happen. Every fighter needs a fighter to bring them to another level. And in the women's sport, Carissa Shields, it would be good for her to bring Ali on deck and make something happen. Because Ali does have a career. She has a name. She has a lot. But right now, Carissa Shields saying the quote. And she has a lot of merit and badges to put herself on top as being able to be a 3-division champ in 10 fights quicker than any male or female. Understood. But now it's all about your paycheck. If you have all the accolades, if you would get these other women together and try to build up your pay, then cool. But if you're going to just leave it about you, about what you're trying to get done, and you don't want anybody, it's not going to work that way for the women. It's not enough you all in the game with big names to influence somebody to invest in you. Moving on. Michael Lewis say, if Carissa was serious about the sport, you will fight her. But I don't know if she's with the shits, to be honest. I believe that she is. And the only reason I'm saying that is that she fought Hannah Gabriel at a higher weight than 154, 160. And Hannah Gabriel dropped her for the first time. Along with her ass hitting the canvas, her mouthpiece came out too. But one thing we can say about Carissa when she rose to her feet is that she moved forward and continued to put the heat, and she stalked and she applied the pressure. No knockout, of course, but what I'm saying, the dog is there. When it comes to Raquel Miller, hell yeah, we'll want to see that fight. Absolutely. Abso-freaking-looking. We'll like to see that fight. Especially two black fighters, champions. We'll get to see that fight. Because right now, Carissa Shields don't have too much of an opponent. Like Marie Dakar, who she's supposed to face 17-0, no knockouts. I mean, come on, yo. Boxing is boxing. We're not saying she has to have 15 knockouts. We're not saying that. We're just saying, like, it's hard for you to break this down to a woman without them getting all butthurt and all sensitive and emotional, right? But when it comes to women, and you explain to them that most of your fights are going to be guaranteed to go the distance, all right? So therefore, what is fans looking up to if they can't get some controversy during the fight? You're just going to go in there and box each other and go to the body and come up top with a hook, use the jab. They're knowing that y'all don't have knockout power. So that's why it's so difficult to say, okay, let me fight for equality, but yet you're not putting butts in the seats like you're supposed to. It's not many people coming to see you fight. That's the problem. If you go into a fight and one fighter got 2 knockouts and the other one has 0 knockouts, are you really expecting somebody to get knocked out? Come on, man. and they're not a bum. The card is 17-0. She has more experience than Carissa. Carissa is not a knockout artist, but she would always say she could knock somebody out. I mean, that's just boxing talk. But can she go in here and do something different with the card? We don't know. But anyway, I would want her to fight Raquel Miller. Raquel Miller's earned her 10-0 and with 4 knockouts. So I would definitely like to see Raquel step in there with Carissa Shields. I mean, she seems like he has her focus. She's very mentally strong. She says she'll probably only be in the sport 2 more years. So I want to see some fights within that 2 years. Let's go. And listen to the interview. She kind of broke down the back end of what people don't know. Carissa has been saying they sent her contracts, but they turned them down. And she was saying like, yeah, we turned it down because I'm a businesswoman first. And you're going to offer me $8,000 to fight you. Then no, I'm not taking $8,000 to fight you. And she has a legitimate gripe. You have to fight for your worth. So therefore, we don't know. It will only be a matter of time. We don't know how long it's going to take. We don't know, people. I love T-Rex, but she's torn with Sport and Money. I think you hit it on the head. Carissa hasn't built a relationship behind the scenes to make it happen. One thing I don't like talking about grown adults and how they carry their business, but the rapport has to be there much more. Some of these young boxers really don't like to hear any type of sensibility from older people. It just seems like they'll ask first, did you box? No, they don't want to pay attention to it. And really, it's a lot more that goes along with people who's doing media. Because if we've been around long enough, we've seen a lot. And we're not going in here to tell you to change your game up, but we know so many fighters that potentially you can link up with, or so many avenues that you can take. I think with Carissa, and sometimes the way she come off to some people, it can be very grainy. You know what I'm saying? It can be intensive, temperature, everything else. So, people look at that like, man, I really don't want to talk to her, whatever. But it is what it is, man. I'm done talking about Carissa because she know. That's all I got to say. Whenever you want to give me that interview, Pre, if not, I'm pretty good with it. It's all good. Wilder Fury is supposed to take place at the end of the year, but Wilder was recovering from a bicep surgery. So we'll wait till all that happens. We'll see what's going on over the next couple of months to see if any promotion starts coming up for these two, and then take it from there. That's all I can say. I know he had a bicep surgery and allowing that to heal, and then him getting back in the gym, hitting the bag, seeing if everything is fluent, the coordination there is feeling natural. You're not feeling any nagging pain. We should see him back in camp. I really want to see him step back in there and silence all the naysayers. That's all I'm saying. Just silence all the naysayers, because I believe Deontay can get his belt back. I do. There's a lot going on that night. I believe he can get his belt back. All business, where corporate or street business, is more about business relationships than people think. It is. It's big time, man. I'm just thinking about all the people when you might have thought it's some people out there that people looked up to that thought they were super rich because they had their own business. They used to come and go and work. They had a pretty nice car. And then at this point, people, like I'm saying, how things is going to change. Those same individuals may be looked at differently. They might be losing a set of friends or two because they're not able to live that same lifestyle if they don't have the money coming in. So now they're about to find out what friends was really on their side and which ones weren't. Because when you was bringing in the money and taking your friends out to eat at the best restaurants and having filet mignon with freaking caviar and give me you know, that Spanish that special Spanish rice with, you know, cured cheese that's been on the shelf for freaking 10 years and all that other shit they eat. I'm telling you, people are going to be broke. People are going to say, I don't have any money, man. You know, some people didn't have insurance on their building. Some people insurance don't cover situations like this because it wasn't a natural disaster. It was man-made. This was absolutely man-made. This is because of the influence of men. This wasn't a disaster. Most of the insurance goes down for rain, tornado, earthquake, and all that. This is stealing. This is looting. So I'm just wondering how the insurance company is going to compensate these people who sit up here and had their building burned down or most of their merchandise stolen. Are they going to be able to recoup that with insurance money? It's fucked up, man. Life has changed. Oh, when I think about it, my life is changing. Oh, I don't want to know what tomorrow brings, but I know life is changing. Let's see. Backing away while crossing his leg. Hold the punches. Hopefully works on throwing straight punches, lateral movement. And circling out. Hey man, you're gonna have to drop that in his inbox, man. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna have to drop that in his inbox. Because I'm pretty sure, you know, he knows what they need to work on. You know, one is better foot movement, and the other ones is increasing the volume of his punches, fighting on the inside, to prevent being tied up a lot. Because if Tyson Fury was able to have success with leaning on him on the second fight, he's definitely going to try it on the third. And the one thing this time is kind of stay out of that situation. And if not, you know, hit him to the body. Man, pop that body and stop him from coming in there. You know, throw the hook to the body and then come up with the uppercut. Just don't let him lean on you. And then, you know, you got to wait till the ref break it up. You know, try some different shit. That's all I can say. Try some different shit, man. I don't know, man. You know, you gotta drop that in his inbox so he can you know that you still support him, man. Because there's a lot of people that turn their back on him, and it's, you know, he still got some soldiers out here, but I'm telling you, man, when you go to these platforms, look at the ones that's talking about the same shit all the time. Just the same boxes all the time, man. I believe he can. I believe he can, people. I absolutely believe he can. My parting words, people, because it's been over 3 hours, but it's been a pleasant 3 hours. In my opinion, it's been a pleasant 3 hours because y'all stepped over here and you know, engaged and provided me some productive input, and that's always good for a boxing. It's always good for a boxing live, man, especially in this daytime. I did get off a little subject talking about the protests and everything, but I didn't start it off that way. I just had to talk about some of the comments that certain people left that really made good damn sense about what's going on in life in general. But what I want to let y'all know is I need for y'all to pass the word, have more people come over to subscribe. So, you know, y'all can really understand, man. You know, I study the sport of boxing. I make sure I come over here and be productive enough to speak on it. And that's what mixed martial arts. It's never going to be just one. If I just cover boxing, I can't, believe me, it would be so easy. But one part of my day I have to cover boxing, the other part I'm covering MMA. It just have to keep on rotating, and rotating. That's what it is. But what I do appreciate most, first and foremost, is when you drop content in there, it keeps the whole entire chat flowing. And you got 3 hours, you got 3 hours and 15 minutes. That's how it is when people are dropping good content. When it's the input, when you have people responding the right way. That's the positive. I wish it can be like this every live. I wouldn't care if the same people dropped in or not. If they are dropping input that makes goddamn sense to boxing and is able to be responded to accordingly, that's the way it's supposed to be. That's all I'm saying. And y'all did a damn good job tonight, man. Salute. I appreciate it. Hey, appreciate you dropping through, Mike, man. Real talk. Thank you for your input. And on the backside, y'all be safe. Absolutely be safe. And understand that this is not going to change anytime soon, people. This is not going to change. I ask that you appreciate, the how you put it. The individuals that's willing to take to the front lines, put boots on the ground, so that their people, their platform. I just didn't do it for me. I did it for the platform too, so that y'all can kind of get a different eye view of what I'm about. You know what I'm saying? Most of what I do, I roll solo. It's not anything I'm just afraid of at all. But me putting, going down to a protest, it wasn't my first, but being that I grew up down here in the South. I just wanted my supporters to see, who's going to stay behind the screen, who's going to go out here and try to make a change for the people, to support George Floyd and all the other ones that died unjustly, and do something about it. So may that bring you back and understand who's the one out here in the field, instead of, behind the screen talking about, well, so-and-so needs to go out here and speak up. Well, Layla Ali, we haven't heard her speak up. Don't worry about any other black person. Let them be who they are. They have other things going on in life. But you can set the example by using your platform, going down there and potentially try to get some media, some footage, some video, or get some interviews. Talk to them people. Let them know you appreciate them supporting them. Protesting. You support it. You appreciate the protest. You down here to make a change too. Don't stand on the outside because you're scared to get hit in the head with a freaking rubber bullet. That shit hurt too. That's all I'm saying. Check out my video that I just put up there. It meant a lot for me to do that, really. It meant a lot for me to do that. I just wanted to get the message out from down here in Atlanta. And I hope we tighten up our protests. I hope for us to see some big names come out. I know that Jermaine Dupri has been talking a lot lately about what he's been thinking about down here, about the protests and all the stuff that's been going on. Yeah, I really want to see him out here, if he haven't already marched already. But yeah, get a protest going, and let's see how all that works. They just had a protest up here again this evening, but I didn't attend because I had some stuff to do. I didn't attend this one, but I'll probably be back out there. And the only thing I'm gonna say, y'all be safe out there, man. Shit is coming up to your doorstep. It's coming up to your doorstep. It's no cushion. Just read all that you want to read and what that word cushion mean. If them looters come up to your doorstep, don't give them no cushion. Don't do it. You deserve that. You don't deserve to sit there and plead for your life and talk sense into somebody that's on your doorstep trying to take what you work for. You might be on unemployment right now. They come in there and goddamn ruin your shit. You might be in debt for another 3 to 5 years before you get clear from stupidity. Just be clear, y'all. check out my vid at the Atlanta protest 2020 for Mr. George Floyd. I took close to 1,000 shots, but I only put so many up there because I wasn't trying to, spread all the negative part of what was out there. But you might see a couple of those pictures in the slideshow. Yeah, for real. And those of you that donated to the channel, always is one love. Appreciate that all the time, every day, all day. And we're definitely going to have some pretty good topics back on here. Today, we're just talking about Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury 3. And then, of course, Terrence Crawford facing Manny Pacquiao. And I really hope that fight happened because he really deserves it. And Errol Spence coming back and fighting whoever he's fighting, whether it's Danny Garcia, cool. Go in there and do your business. But ultimately, as fight fans, we definitely want to see Terrence Crawford, Errol Spence. And in the lightweight division, we have a lot of people that we want to see. We want to see who? Vasily Lomachenko, Teofimo Lopez, of course. Devin Haney, Teo, of course. Ryan Garcia, anybody, of course. They got the hottest division right now. Let's see it. And Joshua Greer Jr., once again, he's facing Mike Plania, a Filipino fighter. Joshua Greer hails out of Chicago. He will be facing him real soon in June. Let me look it back up. This month, he will be facing him, I believe, the 16th, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, this month, June 16th, at the MGM Grand, Las Vegas. So, yeah, he will be out there, man. Mike Magic Plania against Joshua Don't Blink Greer out of Chicago. So pay a close attention to that, to those right there, amongst others that's coming up. I know Shakur Stevenson has a fight scheduled. I look forward to seeing him get back in the square. Excuse me. And hopefully something happens with that 154-pound division with Jamel Charlo and Jason Rosario. Hopefully we can see some of that, mature and come to fruition with these two stepping in and fight for the unified titles. We have to see that fight. Seriously, we have to see it. That fight cannot just go by the wayside, and we have two able bodies. If J-Rock isn't able to come back and fight for the unified titles, let Jamel Charlo do it. No need to freaking stick around for anything else. Man, y'all know what it is. Check out the protest video I did. Try to stay tuned each and every time I go live. Even though if it's not the topic, listen. If I got a topic up here, it may not be something y'all talking about. It if it's on the sport that I'm talking about, boxing or MMA at that time, let's go. Let's rock. Let's put that shit to work. That's what media is. You can change and you can go left or right whenever you feel like when you're doing your own shit. So if you got some content that you want to ask questions about outside of the talking points that I have, because I can only put 100 characters, but I'm not gonna put a lot of shit down in descriptions like we in college. If you want to put shit in there, cool, let's do it. Can't say also the interview with Errol is already up. Check it out on Brian Custer. I would definitely check that interview out with Brian Custer. Real talk. Thanks for that information. And Mike said, peace out, Scott. I'm about to roll. Peace, man. Salute to you. Everyone who stopped in. Hey, turn up and tune in to World Combat Sports. Salute to everybody. Be vigilant.